So this is, oh, this is, okay, this is Elizabeth. Where's Elizabeth? She here? There you are.
Yes.
Okay, so this is your first pass, obviously, right?
Yes.
Okay, so what I'm going to want here. Okay, so what's he doing?
Mike, are you screen sharing? Because we don't see anything.
Yeah, but I don't have yours on.
What?
I just have it. I have it to everybody but you.
Oh, that's so nice of you. Thank you.
You're welcome.
He's supposed to be in a bar.
Oh, okay. What's he doing here?
Just sitting in the forest reading, and then in the other one he's playing a guitar. And
This is the strongest one from a design perspective, the guitar one.
Okay.
But what I would do now is get a really, okay, so here's what you're going to have to do. I would do this one.
Okay.
I might even, and this is just me, because I don't know why there's something about that. I might even go, you don't have to do any of this. I just can't help but say my piece about it. I might, you know, because I don't know why he's reminding me of some kind of, he's got his little, I might change this to a sitar. Does anybody know what that is?
Yes.
Yes.
And then, because he's reminding me of like some, it feels kind of Buddha-ish the way he's sitting. And plus these things are kind of cool looking. They have all these big knobs on them and all these, you know, whatever's down. I don't even know what's down here. I'd have his eyes closed probably. Can't think of what orangutans look like that much. Okay. You know, and then he's got his big orangutan arm on here. And then, and I might even have him, I might even go so far as to have him maybe levitating off the ground a little bit, so I could put a little shadow value there.
Mm-hmm.
And then I mean, I like some of this stuff back here. You know, it's got to get refined or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
But I'd also probably put, do they live in bamboo, like rainforests and things like that?
Yeah, they live in the Bornean rainforest.
I might do a simple, and I might do all this again. I might do all this just with, you know, watercolor and not ink. Just this back part. That's up to you though.
That's what I was considering, but
Yeah, I think it's nice when you give something a little breathing room. Then these have these cool little shoes, and I totally design all this stuff. I mean, you have to anyway. You know, make him like a little orangutan at the ashram in the 60s hanging out with the Beatles. All right, does that make sense?
yeah.
I mean, it could be a guitar. That's up to you. But now we've got to structure this. And now what you've got to start doing is going, you know, get the, you know, you got to get the, you know, the design and all that. But then before you start inking, you got to go, how am I going to handle the fur?
Mm-hmm.
You know, because you're going to ink that, right? You don't have to draw every little bit. Well, at this point, it might not be bad to draw every little thing. And then, you know, how am I going to handle all this? And it's got to be really designed and thought through. Does that make sense?
Yes.
But I like that little pose. That's cool.
Okay.
I've been wanting to do that with a bear, not with almost the same thing, but for the restaurant, but my girlfriend isn't into it yet. But oh well.
Thank you.
Okay. Emily. Man, I'm going to go through these like too fast, man.
What's up?
There
There should be two of them.
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay, so which one are you thinking?
I'm really liking the one on the left with the book. Like when I saw raccoons, I don't know why, but I thought of like cardigans, like the way that they have like tiny little hands, and then like the way that their arms just kind of sag. Yeah, I love them. But I'm definitely leaning towards that one. Like I want to go for kind of a Beatrix Potter, Claire Wendling feel.
Are you looking at Jenna Mattia too, or Jana Mattia?
No, let me write that down.
Here, I'll pull it up.
Okay. No, go away. Sorry. Don't climb on me.
Let's go.
Okay, I'm back. Sorry. cat tried jumping on my shoulders again.
Get rid of your cat. You don't need a cat.
It's my brother's cat. I took him in.
Get rid of your brother.
I wish I could.
You can't.
I'll take all the siblings, eat them into space.
Okay, hang on. So this kind of stuff, right? You there?
Yeah, kind of.
That's pretty.
I like her
decent
pencil
fodder.
stuff.
Huh?
I like her pencil stuff. Like, I feel like the color is like, I might go a little less.
Well, you can do that. I don't care. What do you mean less?
Like softer.
Well, you can do that. I don't care about that. But I mean, it's very much Beatrix Potter, this kind of stuff.
Yeah. Very like storybook back in the day.
But just remember now, and it's actually going to be better because you're going to have to design all that fur and everything. You're going to have to ink it, right?
Mm-hmm.
Now, I mean, you could ink something like that, but you got to really work out what's going to happen here. And she kind of
really
has. It'd be kind of fun actually to do that with a nib. Would be cool. And just hit it with a brush here and there. But
yeah.
But you can also just do it like a lot more. This is a really cool one right here.
Like, look at Claire Wendling. Like, have you seen her stuff?
Yeah.
Like, some of the cross-hatching that she does, or just like ink in general, want to have like that kind of a feel.
I always thought she was super young.
I thought so too. Whoa.
Okay, yeah, these are really inky. These are great. Okay, these are great. You want to go down this rabbit hole? Go.
Okay.
Like this is great.
Yeah. I just love how she draws animals. Like the way that she kind of like follows the skin just kind of hanging to the fur.
These are in the computer though, right?
No, she does a lot of traditional.
Oh, this is ballpoint. Oh, wow. But the good thing, like this type of thing, would work really well, right?
Mm-hmm.
If I were you, you know, I would try and, I mean, all you guys, I mean, it depends on where you're at. I don't want to like put the cart before the horse, but you know, you might want to, you know, you got to have a brush anyway, right? You got to have a, no bigger than one, but you might want to go, and I would play with this first. That's why I talked about this last week or whenever it was, you know, get that brush and start, you know, you might want to just ink the whole thing, most of it with a brush, right?
Yeah, and like just go in with like a crow quill for details.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
That's what I really like about her stuff. Like, I don't know if you can look it up, but she has like these ones of her tigers, and they're so good. Like, I don't know if you're on her Instagram or not, because I used to follow her back when she had a Tumblr, and like she had a whole collection of like animal drawings.
Why do I know her though? Why do I know her name?
She's part of Schoolism, and she was one of the hosts for Lightbox this weekend.
Yeah, but
I bought her bag.
What is she known for? I know her name.
She's just an illustrator. I don't really know.
It's interesting. I'll have to. She doesn't look anything like I thought. I thought she was like a lowish type person or something like that.
Yeah, I always thought that too. Like, I thought that she would be like a younger lady.
Yeah, like Brittany Lee and that, like in that. I thought she was in that generation.
Yeah.
These are really cool.
Yeah, her animal stuff's really good. I don't know why there's like not more of it.
Well, she's got quite a bit of it.
Like, because the way that I followed her was like way back in the day, and it was like, I think I say way back in the day, but it was like 4 years ago. But she had a whole collection.
Internet-wise, that's way back in the day.
4 or 5, it's fine.
Okay.
It's been a while, but yeah.
All right, so let's look at this. Okay, so you're thinking about this guy here, right?
Yes.
So what's he doing?
He looks like the type where he's like, don't bother me, I'm reading books. Like, I want to kind of maybe like make him own a bookstore, because you know how with raccoons they dig into the trash, all that stuff. Like, he'd have like a collection, and like it would just be like a very big mess. And they're like, you can't just live like this. You can't live in this pile of trash.
Hey, I had these raccoons that would come to my house all the time. The main one's name was Missy. She was the first one that started coming around. They get a bad rap. They're actually really cool.
No, yeah, I love raccoons. I grew up in Minnesota, and like, they were so cute.
They used to be cool until the one moved into my roof this summer.
Oh,
Well, that's different.
Yeah, I had a possum move into ours last month.
Okay,
They, like, had to cut in the tree.
I would get this pose, whatever you're going to do. I'd probably do a couple of studies.
Yeah.
I would get this pose a little more, because right now it's hard for me to understand what he's doing. Okay?
Mm-hmm.
So he's leaning against like a pillow thing, right?
Yeah, like he's like in his like little reading nook.
So is he sort of like, he's got this little area. Maybe there's a window behind him. Is that what we're talking about? Like a little bookstore?
Yeah, like that's
This is
exactly what
like-
I'm thinking. Like he owns like a giant bookstore, like not like a small bookstore, and then like has like a window reading nook covered with like pillows, blankets. But I want to have like a lot of books look like they're like about to topple over. There's stuff full of other papers.
Okay. All right. So get this pose, figure this pose out.
Okay.
Because like right now I don't care because you're just figuring it out. But I want to get it. And then again, okay, so here's what you guys really got to remember with this, okay? And again, this is why I picked an animal, okay? Like with a pencil, I can come in and I can kind of indicate a lot of stuff, and I can do all this stuff. When we go in with a pen now, we've got to sort of have a plan. Does that make sense? And that fur and all that, whatever it is, has to be really figured out. And then you want to sort of figure it out with your pencil, okay? So if you're going to have any areas of heavy black where you go, this whole thing's going to be in black, and take the side of your pencil and just do a nice solid fill on it and see what it looks like and work it all out in your pencil. That's what you got to do, okay?
Yeah, I was
Gotta
thinking
be
of like
worked out.
taking pictures and then going in like digitally like on Procreate and kind of like testing it out before I do it.
Yeah, that's
And
fine.
once I have it figured out, like do a print and then do a
Work
transfer.
over the print.
Yeah.
Or you could even take the print and just go light table it and go for it, right?
I don't have a light table.
Oh, what I do is I tape it up. If I don't have a light table around, I tape it to the window. You know, I just work on the window.
I
'Cause with
don't know if
this-
I'll try that with my glass, but I could just tape it to my Cintiq. I'm stupid.
Yeah, you could. What was I going to say? With this, it's not like what I'm doing with like this thing for a different class where I'm trying to get all this stuff in here transferred over to my drawing, which is a lot of like just loose, whatever. It's a little different with ink. We're going to, it's got to be more planned. So when I'm transferring it, and I think I mentioned in the video I put up, with this, I'm just getting a basic, I'm going to give it all the life with the inking. So basically I just have to have the drawing transferred, and that's about it. I don't have to try and capture every little nuance and everything in it. I just got to make sure that I capture the drawing and transfer it, and that's it. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Because all the magic's in the inking. I mean, you got to have the pose, you got to have the design and all. The thing I like about this project, actually, it's a microcosmic design issue. Like you have to hyper design this whole thing. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Okay, I don't have a
They're
problem with
very
that.
Temperamental.
And then make sure if, like this kind of stuff, you're kind of working it out here. Like you could do something like that. Is this going to be pure black here?
I was thinking about it like black mostly, and then have it kind of like start to show texture as it goes to where the lighter spots are.
Okay.
Like where like a highlight would be like, oh, you can see like kind of like a low key thread line.
Also look at a lot of some of the guys that I posted, like the old school guys like Mort Drucker and Jack Davis, all those old school guys. Like look at how they handle different textures and how they handle pure blacks.
Yeah.
Okay. So like it'll give you a lot of interesting ideas. Like I'd probably go in with a brush with this in here, with this pillow thing. And I don't know, I'd play around with it in my sketchbook, but I could do a lot of things. I could do this mostly black, and I'd leave a few little places where it feels like there's a pull in the fabric. And that's where I'd leave the white. And then I might just get a dry brush along the edge and just dry brush the edge, and I'm done. And then it goes into white. So it would imply, again, a half tone. Does that make sense?
Yes.
That idea of implying a halftone, by the way, I keep saying that because it's a big deal in inking. Okay? Because otherwise you just have these masked blacks that just end and they don't work. I mean, there's places you can do that. And I want to do an exercise after this. Actually, when we go after this, I want to go into stylization and caricature. Then I want to go into this other exercise with a different style of inking. But anyway, that's a different thing. But okay, I don't have a problem with that.
Okay.
This guy here, very Harry Potter right here.
Yeah. Because I was thinking like raccoons have like giant circles under their eyes. I thought maybe give them like some circle lenses.
Yeah, they're a trip, man.
The second page had a lot of fun ones too, so it was tough figuring out which one I like. Like I love the one where he's like pointing, he's like, "Get away from me, man! This is my pile of trash."
That one.
Yeah.
Yeah, I like that one too. I think the other one's going to be a lot meatier.
Yeah, definitely what I'm thinking. I want to have more of that whimsical illustration.
You know what else I would look at? Let me see if I can find this. I mean, this is pulling from an. God, I'm trying to think. Because what you're implying here is a very specific world to me. Let me see.
Hey Emily, have you ever seen Once Upon a Forest?
Yeah, that's actually part of the like what my thought process was for the old man Brian.
That's what I was saying. I'm like, oh my god, like totally. I know what you're going for. It's super cute.
Oh, thank you. Yeah, like the badger. Oh, I wanted to have just like this man just loves himself a cup of tea and staying in.
Yeah.
I can't remember who did a lot of
Kind of
like the old
that
school
kind of
Bambi.
thing.
Yeah. Because like I had Mark Davis as like an inspiration also, and then like old artists that did Bambi. I can't remember the name. It's gonna kill me.
Now, the cool thing about this drawing is it doesn't feel all entertainment-y. It feels more like it could be a book illustration or something.
Mm-hmm.
So stay in that universe. Stay out of the entertainment universe. Yeah?
No, definitely. That's the feel that I'm going for. Like,
And what I'm saying here is because they were going for, and I don't know if you guys know this, part of the reason they could do this movie is the Xerox process that started. So they could take these super loose, more inky looking drawings and Xerox them, right?
yeah.
Which is weird. Apparently Walt hated the look of it, and I always thought that was super cool. But
It's definitely one of my favorites. Like I have the They Drew As They Pleased collection, and a lot of like the old school art that they have for that is like what I want to do.
But this also has to me anyway, it sort of has, I don't remember where the movie takes place, but it definitely has a British sensibility to it.
Yeah, it's in
It's in
British.
London.
There's another one here.
So good.
Hang on. Oops, shit. I don't want that. Same thing, right?
Mm-hmm.
Not quite as finished on this one, but well, that's cool. It's a big high res one.
Yeah.
But like these little things, like this little window, that's really nice little touch. These boards, all that stuff is just great. It's another scene from the same room. That's interesting. What is this? Anyway. Now I got to go back and find those. I don't know why that's interesting. Look at this.
Yeah, it looks like they put like a light wash underneath.
The guy handled that hatching right there. And then he pulled it up a little right there.
Mm-hmm.
This is following the form. Yeah, they got a little bit of wash in there, it looks like. Look at how this is really important right here.
Mhm.
This mark on his leg where it goes into the halftone a little bit, how he's angled that where it's following the flow of the fabric. You see that?
Yeah.
It's going this way, not this way, or even this way. It's going this way. That's where the fold or the pull fold would be. It's interesting. This one he's pulling it up. Man, these guys are great, man. Anyway, okay. This one's just more following the form a little bit. But if you go in with a brush, the reason that's cool is like, man, you want to get your skills down, get a brush, do this whole thing with a brush or most of it. Yeah.
Yes. Like, here's, I found one for Claire. I'm gonna put it in the chat. Kind of like what I'm thinking maybe. But I do want to stick more to like that Beatrix Potter kind of illustration.
Yeah.
Like the way that she handles her lines with like brush pens are so pretty.
Yeah, she's a trip. There's a movie about her. You know that?
About Beatrix Potter?
Yeah. I saw it one time. I forgot the name of it. I want to say that God, I never can think of her name. Richardson? No, it wasn't her. I can't think of her. She's a British actress, I think. These ones?
Kinda, yeah. There's like, if you scroll down, she has some of like the tigers. Like, oh, I see it right there.
This one?
No, to the left.
Oh,
Down.
right here?
Yeah.
Okay.
She does stuff like that.
Yeah, those are great. Me like you. Yeah, those are great. Look at that. Look, okay, so
She's using the stripes to contour the tiger.
but look at the power of that black, man.
Mm-hmm.
Look at the power of that. You know what I mean? You talk about something just pulls your eye right to it. Wham! You know what I mean? And after you get done with all this stuff, you guys, and hopefully you can start incorporating a little bit into your stuff, you can use those same tricks if you're doing a presentation or something. It's like what I always say about that Don Carson guy. Like, he used to piss me off over there. Every time I'd see a board with his stuff on it, your eye was like a magnet, just go right to his stuff because it was like really super punchy, super simple, super punchy. And man, his stuff ate everything on that board because your eye went to his stuff every time. Okay? But you see that? I want yours better than that. Yeah?
And Claire Wendling, okay.
Yes. Why, is
You
that
got
not
it.
possible? How's that not possible?
No, it's totally possible.
That's right.
Very.
And I'm going to send these to her, and she's going to quit.
Oh no, I like her. Don't make her quit.
I'm going to make her quit. I'm going to make her quit. That's it.
Damn. I can
Okay.
never meet her now.
Okay, so start designing the crap out of this.
Yeah. I've
I mean,
got a
I'll
lot
do
of
that,
reference
man.
saved for like the bookstore too. So
Yeah, you guys got to, man, and somebody else, who, I think it was Jesse, and Laura. And I should have been doing this. They're doing style boards and stuff. All you guys should be pulling style boards. All right. I'm going to start making it a requirement, but I won't on this because I didn't start it that way.
I'm used to that. I have a lot of reference.
Yeah, it's just you should be pulling style boards. Okay.
Mhm.
And I think for me, my whole career, the research for me was half the fun. I love doing the research.
Yeah, it's one of my favorite parts of like the whole process because it really like pumps you up too. Like you look at all this stuff, you're like, I want to do that. I want to do that.
It's exactly. It's like I always say. It's like when we used to go whatever surfing or whatever. You cranking the stereo when we were like 14. You know, you'd be all fired up when you got to the beach. You were just like raring to go. You know, it's just like that to me. Okay. Yeah. Good.
Okay.
Hey, Mike,
Yeah.
it's me, David.
Yeah, what's up?
I just wanted to check in with you because I sent an email because I didn't see on the assignments like anything for this last assignment. But then I saw that
I didn't assign it as an assignment. I just here's what we're doing.
No, I saw your email and I went to the folder. So I created a folder for this and I dropped it off before class. I just want to let you know.
So it's in there?
Yeah, it's in there now. It should be.
That's fine.
Yeah.
As long as you didn't get any pushback on it, it should be fine. I have to look. I haven't seen it.
Okay, no worries.
I screwed up today because I left the folder restricted, so now the folder's just sort of open.
Also,
Okay.
I'll be back.
So I'm not gonna I'm not, it's not anybody's fault. It's my fault.
No worries.
Well, it's Gilbert's fault, but okay. Okay, well, who's this?
That's mine.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Oh, so you left this guideline in here, Gilbert.
Oh, my bad.
Well, that's it. I'm done. Okay. All right, so he's like a samurai fox?
Yeah, I was thinking of doing a samurai fox. So I've been looking like at Stan Sakai and then like all the inking stuff you sent, and then Just the
Look at
style
it.
board I sent along with that.
Wait, look at
Just
who?
like the stuff.
Who you
Stan Sakai, Yojimbo, Usagi Yojimbo. Just for like how he broke down like the characters and stuff. Have you ever seen that comic before? It's all anamorphic animals set in like feudal Japan.
Oh, really? Wait. What's
Yeah.
it called?
It's called Yojimbo, Usagi Yojimbo.
How do you spell it?
Usagi and then Yojimbo.
Oh, here it is. Well, I never heard of that one at all. Is this more of this anime crap? It's not, right?
No, this guy is Billy. He's the guy who did like the Ninja Turtle stuff back in the day.
Oh, really?
Yeah. They did like a crossover with his characters in like the Ninja Turtle series.
All right, just give me. And there's no way you should be better than this dude. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
I mean, I get it. They're fun and all that, but I mean, they're not impressive as drawings. But I get it. You like it. I get it. You know, you like the.
Yeah, no, the story's really good. The drawing itself, whatever, but like what he did with the comics was pretty cool.
Well, I used to like the. Well, my kid was super into the Ninja Turtles, so I was kind of into it. And I like the design of the original one. I kind of like the design of it. And then like the original comic, I think I haven't seen it since like whenever it was big in the 90s, whenever that was.
Yeah.
I once stood in line from the time Universal Studios opened until probably 5 or 6 o'clock in the day, late in the evening, because they had the turtles there.
Okay.
And my kid wanted to see the turtles, you know. Like,
Was that when the movie came out?
It was like 8.5 hours in line.
Mike, are you talking about when the first movie came out?
It's probably around there.
Yeah.
I know it was around there. I don't know exactly. They actually did something kind of smart. They took one of the parking lots or the parking structures and they turned it into the sewer.
Oh, wow.
Oh, that's cool.
Right. Yeah, it was a cool idea. And then anyway, and then you stood there for 8 hours and then, you know, and I kept telling him, because he's a little kid. I kept going, man, I go, do you want to go through the park or something? He's like, no. I go, you okay with this? Like, we've been standing here for like 5 hours. He's like, no. I mean, just like super determined, you know? It was weird. It sucked. It totally sucked. Okay. Yeah, I just say, like, I wouldn't follow his inking style or any of that.
Yeah, no.
But I get what you're saying. It's like an inspiration.
Yeah.
But one thing I might do, like, I like the simplicity of like this stuff, the way you're breaking it down, like right here.
Okay.
But I want to get, this is getting a little more posy. Yeah, more like I might do a real cool, because there's these really interesting shapes in this kind of thing from just a graphic perspective.
Yeah.
So I'd probably try and really nail that design down. But, you know, I might do a, you know, an action-y pose.
Okay.
And it's up to you, okay? But I don't want one that's too frontal, too formal.
Okay.
And then maybe this hand's up here. He's got a weapon up here or something. You know, maybe this has got some stuff on it. Whatever I mean, it could be anything, but I just get it to be something a little bit dynamic.
Okay.
I mean, because if he's like a ninja or something, I want to see, you know, maybe there's a cool like fold there or something, and maybe I can see this open a little bit, and that gives me a place to do some black. You know, whatever they're, you know, I don't know what they wear, what they have, you know, is there any kind of a quiver, like all this cool stuff I can put into it. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
What's the back? Okay, so what's the background going to be? It's going to be, okay, this
Yeah,
is,
I kind of want to do like a torii gate in the back, kind of just like a big wooden
Okay.
one, or even just like a simple little scenario like that first.
like this would be cool in the back, just like
Okay.
basically it's a silhouette more or less.
Yeah.
you know. Then there's other cool things you can do too. You know, you could go the opposite way where you go, like I always say, like maybe this is just like a red silhouette, right?
Yeah.
But if you designed it really cool, like this back here could just be a big black ink thing. You know what I mean?
Yeah, yeah.
With like, if you really design the hell out of it, you know, with him here, and then maybe this is actually a light value with this, I don't know, the sun or the moon or
Sun, yeah.
something, right? And then all this here could be like a red wash of sky, but like red, you know what I mean?
Yeah, yeah.
That'd
Yeah.
be cool, man.
Okay.
I mean, it's up to you. All I'm trying to do is just go, here's another design possibility.
Okay. No, that
And
sounds
if I
cool.
make that a silhouette, then I would probably really design him. So like somewhere in his design, I could get some nice black marks so he doesn't get totally lost against it. And that, to me, that'd be a fun problem to solve. But again, it's up to you. And, you know, maybe this leg is pushed back a little bit. You know, if he had some pretty heavy ink on him, you could kind of make this real big ink statement on it and then just, you know, big color, whatever. Okay. It's just another way you can go. That's all I'm trying to say.
Yeah.
Um,
Okay.
And like this one, like if you're going to do something like this, and I know it's just a rough, think about that contrapposto that, you know, these things are going to be, you know, so you get a little bit of that sort of weight on one side, right? Because that's the
Okay.
way you stand, unless you're standing formally on purpose, you know, like in a military way. You
Yeah.
know, where you're standing, you know, like this or something, you know, doing that on purpose. But usually you want to get a little of that contrapposto. And with a guy like that, I don't know what his, I like this drawing, by the way. It's a nice drawing. With a guy like that, if he's being very formal, that's one thing. But, you know, he'd probably be leaning a little on that thing and swing, kicking a hip out, and these things are going to oppose each other. And if you push that a little further, he could look like he has a lot of attitude.
Okay.
Right? It would actually probably go this way because this arm's up a little bit.
Yeah, yeah.
And this would probably go this way. They usually, by the way, those things usually oppose each other, hips and shoulders, right? Not always, but they usually do. And then also with this, make sure you design this if you're going to get a rock in here. You know, you could get a little bit of that kind of thing. Every time you guys do something, then I want to do it. Like, now I want. And the guy to look at, one of the guys to look at for that, all those guys I put up before, all those old school guys for sure, because those guys are just monster inkers. Jack Davis, Mort Drucker, all those guys.
Yeah.
And also the other one I put up, he does a lot of rocks. Let me see if I can find one. Whereas now I won't be able to find one. I can't believe this. Now I can't find one. Hang on. Oh, here we go. Like here's one way he does it right here. Right?
Oh, cool. Okay.
He does, you know, here. I tell you, I heard that Frankenstein one went for $1 million just recently.
The one he did, his?
Yeah, this one right here.
Oh, that's cool.
Super famous. Yeah, I heard. I just read it that it went for $1 million somewhere.
That's crazy.
It's worth it, man.
Yeah.
Look at that. That's badass right there. Anyway,
Look at that. Why will Zoom not leave the windows where I want them? Look at those, man. See, look how the leaves are just black. Right?
Yeah.
And then if you go, when you go over here, he reverses them out. They're white in front of the black. Right? Just gives it just gives it so much
Yeah.
texture, right?
Yeah.
All this stuff here, look. It's really pretty uniform. And then he goes in with his brush or whatever here, and pull out, and it's just got all this nice texture. Look at the background.
This illustration sort of reminds me of an Andrew Loomis, kind of, for some reason.
I kind of get that. Probably because Andrew Loomis was just such a strong draftsman.
Yeah.
He had a
Yes, but it has kind of that those classical illustrators vibe to it, right?
Yeah, this also, yeah, I mean, you can push this back to like almost, I mean, it also starts to drift into Japanese woodcut territory a little bit. I mean, not as blocky, but it still has that kind of feeling, the way they're handling the texture and all that. Okay. What else?
Very cool.
Like if I was going to do something like this one right here, and I mean, I don't know who he is, but I might push that pose where his head's down a little more. Maybe he's looking up at somebody, like get that real kind of badassy kind of thing behind it, or just that like that cool pose. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Okay.
And somebody was talking about this. God, why was I forgot where I was listening to it at. Oh, I think it was I can't remember what they're talking about, but they were talking about how it might have been Frazetta, but I can't remember. No, it wasn't Frazetta. Anyway, this one particular illustrator, they go, this person always does the moment right before the action, right? Like they always hit the moment right before the action, as opposed to, and maybe they're using Frazetta to go, he's always right in the action or whatever. But I think actually Frazetta does that too. It was kind of interesting, you know. And there's a in that line of thinking, there's a sculpture. I don't think it's there anymore. It used to be at LACMA of all places. I don't know why. It was in a weird place, and it was this. I found it online before, but it's not nearly as impressive. You have to go see it. But it was a sculpture of William S. Hart, who was a silent movie cowboy. And I guess his thing in the movies is he had two guns or whatever, and he has like one gun out, and the other, and then he's got one gun out, and then he's like pulling this one out of his holster.
Okay.
You know, and it's like shoulders
Yeah.
forward, like he's like right in mid, like right about to pull this one out, you know?
Yeah.
And I remember looking, every time I go there, I'd go look at it and I go, that is so cool. Like that action is so cool. The way, and the way he threw that shoulder into it. You know what I mean? I was like, that's badass. You know what I mean? And it's just always had an effect on my thinking in this way, where you're like, okay, he's in the action, but he's also a little pre-action. He's got one gun out, but now he's, you know, that's sort of, you know, another, it's not happened yet. Most people would have had him with both guns out, not pulling one out, you know?
Yeah. Okay.
And I like those people who go for the not, you know, not obvious thing.
Yeah.
And I'd probably, if I was going to do something like that, I might even turn his head a little bit. If I was going to do this, I might turn his head a little bit where he's looking this way. If I did that. Like I like to shove the shoulder up and then have him sort of looking over. Even if they got a gun or something, they're looking this way. You know what I mean? But it's really cool sort of in some sort of thing, but maybe there's another person over here and he's sort of looking at that guy like, I just vanquished that guy. Now I'm coming after you. You know what I mean? Another reaction thing.
Yeah.
Just like all that stuff. And I like an excuse to pull that shoulder up here. I just love doing that stuff. Okay, good. And I like that you're starting to like really simplify this idea and kind of figure it out. Now you're gonna have to really figure out, you know, how does this work? You know, is it gonna be, You know, is this going to be like that fur that does something like that? Is it going to just be like that? From an inking perspective, right? And then also when something's curving like this, let's say, then, you know, this can kind of, you got to look at how this fur is going to go. It's going to go. So you got to think about where it's going to rise up that way, because it's cool looking, right?
Yeah. Okay.
So all that stuff, right? And then here, like, you know, it's an opportunity here maybe. So you just, and then this could even be just real simple. And you got a lot of cool shit going on here. And then I might darken this top part up a little bit. Now I'm just talking about, see what I mean? How it punches it?
Yeah.
Right. So you always want to, I'd probably hatch this a little bit. Then I might think about that little arch that's happening right there. And maybe even pull this out a little bit so it kind of goes into the next plane a little bit. These could kind of come out. Nah, it's too much. You know, really, I mean, you're already starting it, which is cool. Really design that fur, man. That's the fun part.
Yeah.
I just want to keep going now. You guys can come back in an hour. You know, and then there's going to be a little thing here. Right?
Yeah.
And then this will stair step a little. You already did it. Yeah, you did it right there. That's nice. That right there is nice. That tells me it's a structured sleeve. This is a uniform. Or something like that, right?
Yeah.
On and on and on. To me, that's the fun part, is like designing all that stuff. It's fun. You have to design it. I love that. You have to.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? I mean, you can go all badass like Heinrich Clay or whatever. That's like a different thing. And some of this stuff is designed. Oh, and this. Okay, great. See, this is exactly what I'm talking about right there.
Okay.
See how his head's dropped a little bit?
Yeah.
He just looks kind of badass. He's not like overdoing it, but it's just like that head dropped a little bit and that sort of side, you know, all that stuff, right?
Yeah.
He's got his knife right here in case you're not sure that he's a badass. This guy, not so much. Oh, this is cool.
Yeah, I was playing around with like maybe like doing like the Fennec Fox, which is like the really big
This is great too. Look at this, man.
Yeah, the hair underneath.
Talking about, look.
Yeah.
Like, this is great stuff right here. And then I look at that and go, this fur right there on his neck feels very uniformy, very, it could be some, you know, decorative thing on a uniform or whatever, which is cool. Yeah, it's cool. Here's where you're going to get, this will be fun too, the tail.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I'd make sure I play with that tail, like, you know, pull it this way. So it's, you know, wrapping, having all that fun with it, right?
Yeah.
They don't have stripes, so I'm going to put stripes. You know, and then again, right here where you get a turn, you're going to get where that fur is going to break that edge a little bit. And that's where you can get some of that information in there where something breaks form, right? Fur lays like this. And if that elbow turns, the fur does that, right?
Yeah.
Which, if you ever notice, that's the trick they use in cartoons, especially if you go back to Wile E. Coyote. He has three little, and then he has a couple places where that happens, and it just gives the illusion of fur. And they you know, they can't animate a bunch of fur. They just got to find a graphic solution to it, right?
Yeah.
So that's what we're doing with this too, right?
Okay. Yeah.
It forces you to be a better design thinker.
which I love. So all you people who are doing like character design and whatever, this is going to force you to really think about your mark making. And that, I think that's super important, because the way you make, if you go look at Nico Marley or somebody like that, his mark making is very specific. And his thinking, his design thinking is really specific. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Okay. And he, by the way, look, I mean, it's a different thing because he's an entertainment guy, but still in this graphic line of thinking. Come on. Hang on. I mean, look at that mark making here.
Oh, is this the How to Train Your Dragons dude?
Yeah.
Okay,
Now, this is
cool.
entertainment-y, but I mean, but I just like how specific his mark making is. Look at that.
Yeah.
That's not him.
Okay.
But anyway, this is a really good example of it. I mean, look at that. Super graphic style. Do you see that?
Yeah.
Really graphic style. Okay. I don't hear that much about that guy anymore. Okay. By the way, you guys, you know what I would do? I was talking about this with Jesse, I think. Get yourself like an inky, like Uniball. They're waterproof. And you can get them almost anywhere. They're not that hard to find. You can probably get them as, sometimes I just see them at like Rite Aid too, right? But they're usually waterproof. They're roller balls and they're waterproof. So I think you should be practicing stuff with a nib and all that stuff, but you can't do that everywhere, right? So stick that in your bag, and then when you're just screwing around, you know, drawing people or whatever, start playing with that pen and start getting used to throwing down ink and like playing with it. And you're going to start seeing, like, if you haven't done it a lot, because I drew with nothing but ink for about 15 years probably. And the power of that's why that's why I'm so hooked on it, man. When you threw stuff down, you know, it was just like really punchy. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It wasn't some big thing to like learn how to not put pencil down. It was just like, I just like pen. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Yeah.
You know, it is also good though that you do get used to, like, because I don't put pencil down first. I just, you know, go with the pen, right? That's also a good exercise. So all this stuff, there's ancillary stuff around it that is going to help everything else you're doing, especially like this hyper designing it and then having to sit there and really, like, you know, ink that thing really carefully. I think it's really important because I think most, at least if you're like me, I don't slow down a lot to do that anymore. You know what I mean? Unless it's a job, and right now I teach now, so I'm not doing that stuff as much. But to sit down and really slow down and go, I'm going to need, if you're new at this, I'm going to need 8 hours to just sit here and ink this thing. You know what I mean? And just be cool with it. You know what I mean? And go, okay, I'm going to do, you know, I'm going to sit here until I'm out of steam, and then I'll pick it back up tomorrow. And, you know, some people get super addicted to it, by the way. They get super addicted to inking. Okay.
Hey, Mike.
Yeah.
Just quick questions. You were talking about, you know, practicing with the pen. I found in my pens, I have this Uniball waterproof pen. So it's something like that.
Yeah. What's the name of it?
It's called Uniball. It says Uniball Vision waterproof / proof.
Yeah.
Fine.
Yeah.
So I'll use that, but I also have these Bics that you get at like a regular like office store, like the Bic pens.
Oh, like they're trying to be Sharpies?
It's just like can you see it? It's like a Bic.
Is it like a ballpoint?
Yeah, it's like a ballpoint pen.
I wouldn't do a ballpoint.
Don't do a ballpoint. Okay.
I wouldn't.
So stick with the Uniball. Okay.
Yeah, I'd stick with the Uniball. It's inky.
Okay.
And then if you get like a medium or whatever, however they come, I forgot. That's really inky.
Oh, okay.
And then I would also keep in my sketch bag like one of those, and then a little brush pen, like a cheap brush pen, like a Prisma. The Prismacolor ones are pretty nice. But whenever I buy the Prismacolors of those cheaper ones, I get like 3 of them because they'll fray eventually.
Oh, okay.
Pintels don't fray. They're not waterproof, and I think they're fussy.
Okay.
I like drawing with them, but they're kind of fussy. You know what I mean?
Okay. Hey, one other thing. I was at the art supply warehouse today, and I found this roll, and they said this is the sketching / tracing paper.
Yeah.
So is this stuff you were talking about?
Yeah, that's just bigger, but that's fine.
Yeah, it's very like, I don't know how to. It's like so light.
Yeah.
Okay.
It's that paper is awesome, I think.
Okay.
I'm drawing on it right now with this stuff I was just talking about. This stuff here. Because that way I'll be able to transfer this thing really easy. So this is all that.
Oh, so yeah, so I did get the right paper.
Yeah.
Okay. Cool. Awesome.
I'm recycling my bear into like 4 different tutorials. Okay. Sorry. What am I doing? Let's get rid of this. Hey, Jesse.
Yeah.
Where you at?
Right here.
You still in Cleveland?
That's funny.
Jesse.
Yeah?
You still in Cleveland?
No, I just got back on Sunday.
Oh.
Yeah, but it's not that great here, guys. It's pretty funky. It's pretty gross. Thinking about going back.
I don't
One-
disagree with you on that. Okay, so who is this?
So I'm not picking a character yet. I was just trying to work on like shape language of animals.
Hey, whatever gets you.
So I was just going off of like chipmunks when their cheeks are super full. That was one of the first things that came to my head. So I was just working on shape language of that.
I have a chipmunk I'm doing battle with right now.
Oh, may the best man win.
He's getting all my he actually got all my tomatoes. My last 4 tomatoes, he got them.
Well, try to get a picture of him when he's getting your tomatoes, because I'm sure his cheeks would look really cute.
Yeah, I've thought about that. I've thought about putting a camera out there.
Yeah.
But he's really fat. He's like super fat. I can always tell when it's him because he's the fattest chipmunk.
Oh my gosh. He might be my inspo now.
Well, yeah, here's another thing about him. He's like a foodie. So I'm waiting for all my stuff to ripen, right? So like my tomatoes and stuff. And then he's waiting for them to ripen. Or she, I don't know which it is. He won't take them until they're like ripe, right? When I want them. Right? And then sometimes he'll take like 4 or 5 bites out of it, and then he's like, oh, not ripe. And he leaves it there.
How rude.
He's such an asshole. And I keep chasing him off.
He just has high standards, it sounds like. Or
Yeah, he does. He has
regular,
which is kind of
yeah, regular for a person, I suppose.
okay. Flamingo, right?
Uh-huh. So yeah, I haven't like started to humanize them, or what's the word?
Anthropomorphize.
Anthropomorphize. I just was trying to work out different shapes in some expressions. I do like that.
Go ahead.
I like the idea of the little chipmunk, like with his cheeks full and the pile of acorns behind him.
Oh, okay. What about if you did? And again, you guys, I'm just making suggestions, right? You don't have to do anything I'm saying. So big cheeks. Maybe up instead of behind him, maybe a kind of a belly. However you stylize them. But then sitting on all the
Oh, like on top of the pile?
Yeah. And then you could even go, I don't know, I have a couple of them broken where it's just the tops, they take the other part off.
Mhm.
Because then it gives a little more context than him standing in front of it. Does that make sense? Yeah.
Wait, I didn't understand that part.
It gives them a little more context than just standing in front of them.
Okay. If I wanted it to look like he was hiding him behind him,
Oh, you could do that.
that's kind of what I'm going. That's what I am going for. I
Make
like
sure
him on
that-
top of the wall, but what would
Make sure that-
indicate?
Make sure that it's reading as that, though. Right?
Okay.
I'd have him holding one. Anyway. They're cool looking, though. I got to give them that. Yeah, I don't have a problem with any of these. But now you got to work them out.
Hmm.
Who's he hiding them from?
I don't know if it would be hiding per se. Maybe.
Well, then why is he
I'm an-
standing in front of him? That's my problem with it.
No, I think there's another word I'm looking for that is similar to hiding, but I don't know. Like, yeah, I guess it is hiding. Just like, oh, nothing to see here. Probably from other chipmunks.
Let me get that pose right. This could be fun from a fur perspective, this whole thing right there.
I would give him pigeon toes. I think that'd be really cute.
I was trying to get at this leg right here to like he's pushing one back. You know what I mean?
Oh, yeah.
Oh, okay, I see it now. Yeah, that looks.
Or
really
even
cute.
pushing it a little more where it's sort of stretched. Yeah, people do it, they'll pushing it back, you know, to
Uh-huh.
get it out of their view or whatever. But anyway, that's up to Jesse. Okay, so you think you're gonna
I like-
that one?
Maybe. I don't know. Unless I think of kind of a better little storyline for a flamingo, because I kind of like drawing of flamingos too. They're cute.
Flamingos have a lot of fun design things you can do with them. But so does everything, so right? Flamingos always like that I can get the leg going down into the water, you know, and then I can do the little ripple. I just always like that.
Oh, that's cute.
And then they always have one, you know, they have, how they do that? They have one leg that's up here and then they have one that goes down, you know, and then into the water.
Yeah, they make like a 4.
Yeah. Okay. All right. So you know what you're doing?
Yeah, I'll probably be in the meeting tomorrow with some stuff that's like a little more fleshed out.
Okay, good. It's a good thing you reminded me of that too, by the way.
No problem.
What's the David here? Oh, that's kind of like that, yeah. Anticipation.
I was bringing that up because you were talking about the cowboy thing earlier in the action, and I was just thinking about, I took this art history class, and you were talking about artists that do things so differently, and I just thought, wow, Bernini, you know, he really did something really different with his statue, you know, compared to the other ones.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. But yeah, anticipation, right?
Mm-hmm.
This one's kind of doing that, Jesse.
Oh yeah, does that one read better?
Yeah, I think that reads a little better.
I'm gonna try to work out that pose that you were trying to do though. I like that, the kind of 1 foot out leaning, and also the pigeon toe. That was a good idea, Emily.
Yeah, I agree. Where's Josh?
Hey, Mike.
Okay, what do you think?
I'm still just kind of messing around with ideas. I haven't gotten around to like anthropomorphizing most of them.
This is kind of fun.
Yeah, I like them.
What's going on with this dude? He's hanging out?
Yeah, it's just a bison with like birds on it.
I might have him acknowledge it a little more.
Yeah,
Where he's looking at him.
that'll be good.
Oh, it's a bison.
Yes.
Yeah. That could be fun.
The raccoon.
I mean, just him sitting there eating.
Yeah.
Trash pandas, right? What's this guy doing?
Just startled by something. Just a deer.
What I
I'm
like
entirely
about
curious
this
what-
kind of thing, though, this background could become all silhouette-y and, you know what I mean?
Yeah. hmm
Now I kind of want to, it'd be fun to try one, like I was talking about, where like these things become really big ink statements and everything becomes a big, giant ink statement, maybe with like, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
You'd have to want to go down that rabbit hole, though, because you'd have to really figure it out. Is this his house?
Yeah.
What's this guy doing?
Just eating a pile of fruit.
This could be fun. I just like piles of stuff. I don't know why. All right, this one's cool too. Well, which way are you leaning?
I don't know. I kind of do like the raccoon.
It feels like a complete idea.
Yeah.
I don't think it needs any verbiage.
Right.
Wait, is the verbiage like a sign?
Yeah.
Okay, that's different. Okay.
Thinking like a neon sign type thing.
Yeah, I'd have it in the, because he's behind like a restaurant or something, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, I'd have it. You know, maybe in the window. You know what I mean?
Right.
Well, you probably do.
Cool.
It feels complete
hmm
as an idea. I'd really push the pose. It looks like you kind of are. Really. You got this. That's good. I'd probably have his other feet hanging out here.
Very
Maybe,
nice, yeah.
Big belly. I'm cool with that if you want to do that.
Okay.
And then you're going to have to, design everything, right?
Right.
So this, by the way, remember you did that thing in illustration last term?
What did I do?
You did that building. It looked really inky. I think it was a graphic novel.
Oh, yeah, yeah.
You remember we were
The
talking
comic
about that? I go, man, that's like a full-on ink thing. Remember that?
Right.
Get back in there.
Yeah, that'd be fun to do.
You did. That was a good job on that, man. It looked like an inky thing.
Cool, thank you. Yeah, that was fun to do.
Yeah, well, you can do the same thing here. Only for real with ink. Yeah?
Yeah, I can try that.
I mean, it's up to you, however you want to do it. But get it now. Now go to town. Start designing the hell out of it. Okay.
Okay, we'll do. Cool. Thanks, Mike.
Got to design the heck out of it before we can ink it. Where's Monique?
I'm right here.
Okay, so what are you thinking?
I think the only one I really thought through was the cat one.
Why is that?
I don't know. For some reason, the cat one was the only one that came together like a full scene, like something was actually happening.
So what's he doing or she doing?
The cat, there's like a bowl of cereal on the floor, and there's like a spoon next to it, and then the background would be the silhouettes of the people.
I don't have a problem with this one. Where's the cereal? I don't see that. Where is that?
Oh, the cat's on the opposite side.
Oh, this one's not a cat? What's this one?
No, it's a red panda.
I kind of like that one.
I was gonna put that one inside a tree. So the background would just be like the branches and its front is just hanging off a branch.
I kind of like that one. You don't like that one?
I liked it too, but I wasn't sure if it...
And plus you're starting to have sort of an idea here of how you could sort of handle this from an ink perspective.
Mhm.
You know, you can connect these if you want. You don't have to. You know, and then even this, you know, you could kind of follow that same line of thinking.
Yeah.
It's up to you, though. Why couldn't he be looking out of a tree this way? Like if this is the tree, he's right here. Hanging out of his little hole. Because you're saying he's on a branch, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, he could be on a branch, I guess. Where's his back legs?
I didn't get to the back legs, but I was just gonna have him dangling off, like, yeah.
Yeah, you could do that. Okay. So you're talking about this one, right?
Yeah.
Well, if you're going to do something like that, figure it out. Because this one's starting to feel a little more fleshed out. And this one's not fleshed out yet. And then if you're going to do background, what are these people doing back here?
I guess I didn't know that it could be, I don't know why I was stuck on it being so not detailed. I don't know why I was stuck on like graphic shapes for the backgrounds.
I don't think graphic shapes is bad for the back. I mean, if you want to do that.
Uh-huh.
I mean, you could do that. It's up to you. Like, you know, graphic shapes look really nice. You know, you can have what I do a lot of, and not just me, anybody. You know, I'll trick out the front part, and it's sort of like I did with the inking demo. Yeah. And then the back is just a couple of silhouettes, washes, and that's it. And all of it just sits back. Now I can do the same thing if there was a crowd of people back here. You know, I could design all that, and then all that is just, you know, an ink or a watercolor wash, and it's just a silhouette. Maybe I modulate the wash where it goes from a little bit purpley to a little bit blue to, you know, to whatever, right?
But it's all like a unified sort of group of people, like a silhouette. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
I mean, that's just an idea. But what are these people doing back here?
Well, I was trying to make it look like they were upset because the cat like spilled the cereal or whatever.
Well, then it's going to be a little different than being a silhouette then.
Yeah.
Because you're going to need to, they're going to become a little bit more important probably. Right?
Yeah.
So I would, if you're going to do this one, I would get it to at least this level.
Okay.
And then you can kind of figure out from there. You know, this, like this back part of his body hanging there, that could also be a silhouette, right? That could be 100% black maybe. And then this all, you know, comes forward a little bit. I mean, there's just so many ways you can do it. You know what I mean? this even, you know, how am I going to handle that, you know? Blah, blah, blah. Okay. So pick one, design it out.
Okay.
But I would say you're starting to get the right idea with this, the way you're handling this.
Okay.
Okay?
Okay.
Make sense?
Yeah.
I'm dying to get into the inking part. Also, if I were you guys, I'd pick up a box of those cheap rubber gloves that you can get them at Harbor Freight for like $3. You'll get sick of getting ink all over your hands. All right. And also make sure you do what I told you. I mean, I'm jumping the gun here a little bit, but you do not want to spill that crap on your carpet or on anything. Okay. It's like, it's brutal. Okay. Where's Quinlan? You here? I can see him. Okay. All right. Taylor.
Hey.
Hey.
Hi. So, I haven't anamorphized them yet. I was just trying to get like more of like the actual like body language of it before I started doing that. And I think I was gonna do the frog because
That'd be fun.
Huh?
Frog would be fun.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking with like the little like it's not like stripes, but the little like ridges they have on them and stuff. And I was probably just gonna do like a lily pad scene. I was thinking he could be like sitting, like, you know, their legs are kind of lanky, so like kind of like sitting on the edge of it, but like in a more like chilled pose, I guess.
What's his pose gonna be?
Like that. Does that make sense? Like, okay, if I'm standing up,
Yeah.
like his legs are gonna be over the lily pad.
Oh, okay. Is he gonna be dangling his feet in the water?
Yeah, I didn't think about that. I don't know, because then that kind of takes off like half of the frog, and then it's just like top
Not if
body.
you find a way to graphically show his feet in the water.
That's true.
You know, if this is, by the way, go crazy with frogs, man. They're funny looking. They got this big thing right here.
Yeah.
You know, I don't know if his legs go into the water. And again, you know, you could break it with a little ripple. You know, I don't know, maybe it does this.
Yeah.
You know, whatever. You could come up with some. It's fun when people, one thing I love about this kind of thing is when people come up with like some kind of super clever solution.
Yeah.
Because with ink, like I'm not going, you can use the ink. I mean, I guess you could also do it where you could have his leg here, then it goes into the water, and this is all ink. And then it has like your little ripple to break it, right?
Yeah.
And then this could become, you know, just a wash, a darker wash of the watercolor.
Yeah, that'd be cool.
And then it would just look like his feet are under the water. That'd be kind of fun. And don't even ink it. Just let it be a silhouette.
Yeah. I think that'd be cool.
You know, break his, you know, here and there, you can get a little bump.
Yeah. Little frog warts.
So now you're going to have to pose them a little more. My frog's stoned. Everything I draw looks stoned. Okay. And then, you know, I don't know, however you're going to pose him and his feet are in the water.
Yeah.
I saw one that was really cool.
It just got, I've been seeing, I saw a couple of them recently for some reason, frogs that were really pushed. They were fun. Now here's one. Come on, there you go.
Oh wow.
Huh?
That's cool.
I know. I like the all of them watching him sing, and this guy's gonna get him. Plus, I like that arm. The way that arm looks.
Reminds me of that Looney Tunes frog.
Yeah, yeah. Michigan J Frog. I still think that cartoon's super funny, man. Anyway, look at the simplicity of the water.
Yeah, in the moon.
Yeah, and that's clever as hell. Just putting like a little wash and just you didn't do the whole sky. Just use a little wash. That's super smart.
Yeah.
That's great. It's funny looking. All right. Okay, where's the rest of mine? Hang on, let me see if I got any more.
Like mine were in there.
Yeah, I'll look. Calm down, Taylor.
Well, I just, they weren't in there.
Just calm down.
I'm sure.
I put mine in there.
Dude, she was ready to fight. I'm like, Mike, you better find those images.
He's always ready to fight.
I put my joint in there, Mike.
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay, what happened now? Oh, here.
They were in there with everybody who already did that, so.
Drive. Right cheer. Okay, here I got June's. I don't have yours.
What?
Well, what a loser.
What's
I'm
the
looking
truth?
at it right here. Where did it go? Hold on.
You know what, Mike? You might have posted a folder that was for the 16th, because I think I put mine in that one. And that's why I had to re-upload to this other one, because I might have gone into your
Only one
Illustrator.
folder there. I don't have two folders up.
No, it's
I have one for the 16th. I have one for the 16th for tomorrow.
That's what I think I did wrong.
Well, you have them here. They're here.
I put mine in the 15.
What the front door? I totally put mine in there.
I put mine in there. It should be my name.
It's not in there.
You're all grounded.
I put it in like 40 minutes ago.
It ain't in there.
That's weird.
Hey,
I put mine in there at 3:59 for sure.
Taylor, just throw them in there.
I did. I'm doing it right now.
Oh, you did?
Yeah, I just dragged them to the folder.
I'm gonna check too, because I don't know. I'm a little okay.
I still don't have yours, Taylor.
Hold on.
Oh, let me put it again.
Mike, did you download a folder that says TCW?
Yes, that's yours. Okay.
Yeah. I was like, I know I put mine in there.
I'm not very bright. That really confused me.
Sorry.
Really. Hey, I'm sick right now, so I have an excuse.
I'm trying to clarify the whole Taylor situation.
All right, let me hang on a second. I want to grab my water real quick, you guys. Man.
Mike, can I drop it in the open discussion folder?
No, put them in the Google Drive. It's easier for him.
I put mine in the Google Drive, but it's not.
Just try it again. Sometimes Google's weird.
Hey, Mike, you're muted, just to let you know.
Oh, he went to go get water.
Okay, I thought I saw him like trying to talk earlier.
Is there like a class folder there?
I put It says September 50, 2020, blank one, something like that, I don't know. I put in there.
Just try it again. Yeah, just if it comes back, like he'll be able to just get it.
The only folder I was able to find was the open discussion folder.
So if you look in the announcements, there it says class links. There should be a link that brings you straight to the drive. Like if you go into the announcements, it's gonna have different links. And in his class link, there's a little
always the same
link that
thing.
connects
Red
to it.
word folder at the end. Okay,
Yeah.
this time I screwed it up, but it's always the same. I don't want to talk about that anymore. I'm done with it. Okay. I just told my class today I had to cut 40 minutes of me talking about folders out of my Saturday class. 40 minutes. Okay. All right. So what are we thinking? What's this guy right here? I like this guy.
So it's I kind of like drew up a list of my favorite animals and then went from there. So that's a golden mole, and he's a cowboy.
Okay. I like. You know what else I like about this? That like these would just be really simple, like nice little background shapes.
I've also been watching a lot of cowboy movies during quarantine.
Which ones?
Basically everything John Ford's ever made.
Ah, that's awesome.
Watched 34 John Ford movies.
That's awesome.
It was nuts.
Those are great though, right?
I mean, they were great. Some of them were good. Some of them were not so great.
Hey man, it's John Ford, man.
Yeah, I know. That's what everybody else said.
John Ford's a badass. Isn't John Ford the one that had the eye patch?
No, see, that's what I thought, but I think it was someone else.
He might have been.
Because that's what I thought too. So I thought these movies would be less, like, they would make less sense than they did, but they were all very presentative. So.
Oh yeah. Well, those guys are, they're making hits. Okay, platypus.
Yeah, scuba diving.
Oh, you want to see something here? Hang on. You want to talk about platypuses? Platypi. Not long for this world because Darwinism.
Same with the pangolin, the animal that I drew on the left. They're getting poached out of existence.
Yeah, but you know what? The COVID thing has slowed that down.
I know, because it's their fault.
No, because they banned wet markets.
Well, that's good too.
I hate the concept of that.
I know.
Look that's a baby platypus.
It's not real. It's a rock.
Is it really?
It's an internet hoax. It's not real.
I want that to be a baby platypus.
I do too, but I've looked it up. It's art.
How is that a rock?
It's like, I don't know if it's a rock, but it's a carving. Like, it's definitely like a structure of art.
I'm gonna have to look that up. Somebody did a good job of it.
Yeah, they did. Fooled me for a few years.
I want that to be what a platypus. Is that what they look like though?
I mean, I've never actually seen that small of a baby platypus, so I'm gonna go with no.
Yeah, you're right. Here it doesn't look real. They probably look like that. Like that.
Yeah, it's like that's what that tiny little, this fake duck one even looks more real. I'm pointing at it like you can see what I'm pointing at.
I can.
Okay. That's a pangolin or whatever they're called.
Yeah,
Who's this guy?
it's the same. I just kind of did like 3 different ideas of the pangolin.
What's this guy doing?
So that's a star-nosed mole, and he's just
Ooh.
sitting in bed waking up.
When I was a kid, this is such a weird memory for me. The Encyclopedia Britannica,
Yeah.
which was the internet at the time, right? And you just sit there and you go through just look through it and just trip out on stuff.
Yeah.
They had the creepiest picture of a star-nosed mole, and it totally creeped me out.
I mean, they're creepy. I'm not a fan.
Ugh. And it just gave me like the creeps when I was a kid,
Yeah.
when I was like 7 or whatever.
I mean, genetically, their nose just seems improbably disgusting.
Yeah, but in the picture, it didn't look like that was his nose. It looked like that was his face. And then he had his hands out, and they had these like big hands.
Yeah.
With like it just totally creeped me out. It looked like a monster to me. It was a weird picture, and it was like in black and white. You know, I don't think anything in that book was color. Probably. I wish I still had those.
I mean, I'm sure you can find them on the internet.
Yeah, that's true. I don't want to go buy them. It'd just be interesting if I still had them. I could go through them again. I bet you there's a ton of. I bet you I went through those things thousands of times because we didn't have anything. You know, you had the TV, but that was it. You know.
Yeah.
Penguin.
Yeah.
What's this guy? Kawa? Yeah, cow.
It's a cow taking the milk out. I thought there was kind of like a funny pun in
Oh,
there.
that's kind of funny. Yeah.
Like old timey.
What's this one doing?
It's a baby penguin pointing to a class board, kind of like being like a scientist, you know, being like, you know, the world is dying, but science is real.
I used to draw a lot of stupid jokes. I think I told you guys about this person. Same person I used to torture about her dog. Did I ever tell you? I told you guys that, right?
I don't think so.
But anyway, she got all of us are bothered by it, but she was real young. She was an intern, worked for me.
Oh, yeah.
I'd always do all these drawings and leave them on her desk of like stuff about global warming and animals. You know what I mean? She got all bummed out.
I would get bummed out by that.
I still have it somewhere. I know I have those somewhere. I probably got a stack of drawings like that I used to do back then. Okay, so which one are you leaning towards?
I mean, honestly, the mole cowboy section.
This guy?
Yeah.
I love that guy.
Yeah.
I mean, that's funny looking.
I think so. Because he's just, because I, like, my initial thought was like an old timey, like, that's how I got to the poker player underneath him was like, they're just kind of, I think of them as these like soft
That was
Western
funny.
characters.
Soft what?
These like soft Western characters, like the bartender or a banker. So then I liked that I made the mole a cowboy because it seems very like opposite of what a mole would do.
Well, plus he doesn't look scary at all.
Exactly.
Like you'd be like, I don't care if you have a gun, dude. I mean, really?
Yeah. He's like the Robin to the Batman. That's what I kind of think of him as.
There's something really funny in this whole. He looks like, I don't know how to explain it. I can't put my finger on it, but I know what it is. Does that make sense?
I mean, yes, I guess.
I don't know, just like some Durfee neighborhood dude or something. It's a very specific kind of thing. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Kind of looks like this. He looks like this guy I worked with a little bit,
Yeah.
who was a
He might-
doofy guy.
He makes me think of Kevin James a little bit.
Way cooler. No, this is way cooler. Kevin James sucks. This guy, I think, is funny too, and I think it's funny the way he's holding his cards.
Yeah.
Like he's holding them all like he's looking over here and they're way in here. It just looks funny the way he's holding them like that. And then it looks like he's kind of looking over it like, well, how much money I got left or whatever. You know what I mean? So there's something funny in that too. The trick with these things is when you're doodling, you'll hit this great little thing, you know, some little specific thing like that.
Yeah.
Holding these funny like that and then looking over at that other thing. There's just something funny about that to me.
Yeah.
Then you got to try and hold it in the fleshing it out part.
Oh, totally.
That's the hard part, I think.
Well, especially since these are so small, so like having to like make them like redraw them and do them a little bigger.
Just blow them up, print them out, and start working over them.
Yeah, that's a little easier said than done. I don't have a very good printer.
It doesn't have to be a good one. Just be a crappy one. Or take them to Kinkoids or whatever and just blow them up on a Xerox machine.
Yeah.
That's what I do all the time. If I'm near a Xerox machine, I'll just use that.
Yeah.
And I just blow them up randomly, and I go, that's about right. I don't want to blow them up this big. That's too big a leap.
Yeah.
I'll blow them up to like, you know, that big or something, and then I'll start working that, and I'll blow it up again.
I got spoiled when I was doing my rabbit in the illustration class, and I copied that rabbit like so much to like change it and edit it. and I'm sad that I don't have that like hunker of a copy machine like we have in class.
Oh yeah, that's that. What you just said, that you edited it a lot.
Yeah.
It's so important.
Yeah.
And you're going to find out with this stuff in this class is going to be fairly deliberate, right?
Mm-hmm.
Because after this, we're out of ink for a while, and then we're just going to go into caricature and stylization and all that.
Yeah.
And then it'll get a lot looser, because that we're not going to ink those or anything. But for this, I mean, editing is probably your key word there.
Yeah.
Editing and designing and editing and editing and editing and it's what I'm doing with this whole thing right now. I mean, I'm just farting around with it because I like to have something to play with.
Yeah.
But then I was like, well, I need to do a video of this process, like, so I don't have to show it in class every time.
Mm-hmm.
And then I also want to show this other stuff, blah, blah, blah. But so I'm going to also include the watercolor stretching and all that in it. But so anyway, I'm tweaking this thing, and that's all I'm doing is I'm just editing it and then taking a picture of it, flipping it, and go, oh, that doesn't look good. You know, I'm not going to take it as far as I normally would, but it's just, I love that process of like refining and editing, refining. Editing's actually, I think it's a better word actually.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? Because that's really what you're doing is editing yourself. You know? And it's weird because it's not the same as like a writer has an editor, right?
Mm-hmm.
So somebody else comes in and it's a really smart process if they're a good editor, because the editor will make your writing, will make it better, right? You can't really do that with a drawing, really. I don't think. I mean, I guess people do probably in some way, shape, or form, but I don't know. I don't think that works as well.
Then you end up like with the old animations, how stuff would be slightly different from frame to frame.
Well, it would just be, number one, and it's weird, I never thought of this before, but how do they talk writers into that? Like and it is a good system.
Mm-hmm.
How come they've never, I mean, they kind of do that with art directors, but art directors don't usually go, no, and redraw some. They don't usually do that. They'll just go, hey man, make them lean over a little more or whatever. And actually that sort of is editing. And a lot of times they are better.
Yeah.
Because somebody will, and it doesn't have to be an editor. It's like your fellow classmates and stuff.
Yeah.
They can look at your stuff. You guys do it in the class all the time, and you go, well, what you got to do is blah, blah, blah. And it's like, oh, yeah, that's a great idea. You know what I mean? Like all that stuff is great, I think artists get too with their stuff, you know what I mean? Like they're like, this stuff,
I think I got so trained for like critiquing in graphic design that like I just only ever think of stuff as like edit critiquing in that way.
I think
critiquing myself.
Yeah, but you're also just always trying. Every time if I get some distance from something,
mm-hmm.
And I'll look at it and go, wow, that doesn't work at all. How come I didn't see that? But I won't see it till the next day or whatever.
Yeah.
And having that freedom to go, just get away from it for a little bit and then go back to it and tweak a little bit and play with it and everything, go back to it and tweak a little bit. But it might only be work on it a half an hour at a time. And then you're just going, okay, whatever, come back to it next day, tweak it a little bit, unless you have a deadline or something, then you can't do that. And that's what sucks, because then things go out and then you see it wherever it goes, in the store or wherever you see it, and you go, oh God, you know what I mean? It's just, it's off.
Mm-hmm.
Like that drawing sucks. Like that sucks that's my drawing. Because it might even be a product like at first you were excited about, and then you go, now I'm not going to tell anybody it's out there because I don't like that drawing anymore. Or whatever it is, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Okay, so you're leaning to one of these two guys, right? Or is it this guy?
I mean, I like the top guy.
I think it's the top guy.
Yeah. I think because it's just like, I kind of have that like background planned out too. And I wouldn't really know what to do with like the poker background.
What's going on right here?
I just didn't know how to like, work out the bottom of his like body. Because he doesn't have a tail, but he's just kind of like fat and blobby at the bottom.
Does he have a little bit of a belly that could hang over this?
Yeah, totally.
And then here, maybe that's a little too small. It rides up on him a little bit.
Yeah, totally. Yeah, they're very like blobby little animal.
And then are these chaps?
Yeah.
So look at those.
I kind of threw those on as like an afterthought.
But they get like these cool little fringe things.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking they would be a nice like small like little ink detail to throw in there.
Okay, and so his body comes all the way down to here, right?
Yeah.
Okay, so but I'm wondering though if his leg would actually be like, and again, we're not doing a documentary.
Yeah.
And he's a what kind of mole?
Huh?
He's a what kind of mole?
Called a golden mole.
Fancy.
They're tiny little blobs.
I might do that little thing where they raise the pinky.
Yeah.
You know, they do that very like
Yeah.
that
They
weird
only
thing.
they only have 3 fingers.
So put
in the
this
front,
one
So, yeah.
like that.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's funny. And then okay, so then you got to figure out. I like his hat. His hat's like kind of stupid looking, which is good. Just kind of beat up.
I didn't want it to look too cool.
Yeah, no, nothing's cool about this dude. Okay, so then this is kind of cool like that. You know, you can have a little bit of his belly hanging over. What was I gonna say? Oh, you got to really now, just like everybody else, you got to design the hell out of it, and you got to figure out, like, you know, is there going to be any fur on this interior, and how are you going to handle that?
Mm-hmm.
You know, I would make sure you're thinking about all you guys. You know, if you got a character like this who's kind of a cylinder, again, there's volume going through here, and then that fur has to wrap around that same volume, right?
Mm-hmm.
However that fur works, and be careful with that too, because when things change direction, you got to know how they change direction. Does that make any sense?
Yeah.
And then, like, how am I going to indicate the fur? You know, you're probably not going to want to do all of it. You go, okay, how am I going to indicate the fur? You know, on key points and all that kind of stuff, right?
Yeah.
Enough to make him look furry. You can get away with a lot of again, you know, a little bit here. You know, you don't, a little bit of that goes quite a ways.
Yeah.
And then I found one. Let me see if I can find this. I thought it was cool. I think I have it in here. Hang on. That's not it. Hang on, I can probably find it right here. I know I say, oh, here it is. So look how he masked, how much of this he masked. You see that?
Yeah.
I mean, that's interesting. And then he also, this part right here, this is a really clever thing to do. Like here, he put that dark and then carries this over. It's the same thing I always talk about with trees, where you have that leafy edge and then you go into a dark.
Mm-hmm.
It carries a lot of the mileage out of it, because you just put it all into black. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
And it also gives the impression of like the shoulder fur laying over something else. In this case, a dark mass, right?
it really drives home the idea, because that's what fur is. It's layered on top of each other, right? In like layers, right? So, and then this whole arm is black ink. Same thing over here. Really finds the areas where you can put in that dark black ink. And then over here, it's pretty light.
Yeah.
And then here, he's indicating like a little bit of a core by turning those curly cues or whatever. You know, and then leaving a little out here. Look at that. He left 3 little marks right there. It's all he needed, right? Because he's getting so much of this idea of fur all over the place, but it's actually not that detailed at all. You know what I mean? He's really letting a lot of that ink do the work. And for some reason, there's Flood Flintstone back there for some reason. I got to go back and read these things. I never read them. Maybe they're funny. I don't know. Okay, I think I got a couple more now. Oops.
Oh, Mr. Mike.
Yeah.
Me, David. I apologize. I made a mistake when I submitted my homework. I put in the September 16th folder. So just to let you know, I put in the September 15th.
I'm going to start killing people, by the way. Probably this week.
All right.
All right. Who's this?
They're mine.
Hey, what are you thinking? Cat?
Yeah, I have this, like, he's like a Persian and like Russian tail cat, and he's like really fluffy. So I was kind of wanting to make him like a cartoon in a way, or like make him my project in a way.
I would start. Okay, but you got to get this stylization nailed down, right?
Yeah.
Now you can do what you want shape wise, but like if you want to start pushing cat, they have a little bit of a triangle right there.
Mm-hmm.
Now, how you want to handle that, obviously, it's up to you. And by the way, again, we're not making a documentary. If you want to really jump off the cliff, that's fine too. But get all this stuff sort of designed. Like here's a really good. You're starting to think right here. You know how are we gonna, and then here, just like what we were talking about just right now with Mort Drucker stuff. You know, all this could just become black. Right?
Mm-hmm.
You know, get this paw nailed down. I just didn't. You know, and then this, I might put the foot under so it just sticks out a little bit right there.
Okay.
Maybe a little more of that fur. You know, and then get this sort of, because we want to have enough information where we got something really cool to ink. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Sometimes I put the little muzzle mark there. I don't know if the eyes need, you know, fiddle around with the size of the eyes. They're really big, but I don't know. Maybe you want that. I don't know. You know, and then how are we going to handle this? You know, you could handle it like that. You can handle it like where it's a little sharper. You can handle it where it's a little rounder. I mean, there's a million ways you can handle it, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Usually on the elbows, that's another place where you can show a little bit of fur, you know, and just start plussing it up. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
And what's in the background?
I wasn't sure because like my original like idea that I had, but I was really struggling with like creating him like a character. But like in my original thing, like since he like I don't know why, but I was picturing him like standing up, but like I wanted it to be kind of like if he was like either a waiter or like in like a boxing ring, but like standing up kind of all macho in a way, but I couldn't create it. But like, I don't know. I'm just like, I was like really struggling like with kind of like, I'm like stuck in this box and I'm just trying to get myself out of the box. If that
Well, one thing you might want to do is just break the real simple shapes down. Like when you said waiter, right?
Mhm.
So, I might start going, maybe he's got one hand this way and he's got a towel over it. Maybe this hand, and when I think of waiter, I mean, like a fine dining waiter, he's probably a little more formal, right?
Mm-hmm.
Maybe this hand's holding, I don't know, a bottle of wine or something. He could have the little maitre d' jacket on. But if you break it down to these really simple components, maybe try you see, I'm just doing it with really simple. Maybe he's holding, what do you call it? Serving tray with the turkey on it. Maybe the other hand just came over and lifted up the lid. So he's presenting it. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
And then maybe he's got, an apron on. Here's where his little pin is. And he's still got paws, right? It's another way you could do it. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
But what I'm not really overthinking, I'm just going, okay, I have this sort of diamond shape. Maybe, maybe it's this sort of a body. How long are his legs? How long are his arms? I don't see him as being all that long for some reason. And I just go, okay, there's my basic shape, whatever you come up with, right?
Yeah.
And then I can go, okay, now I know the basic shape. Now I can turn that. And I'm going to have him running. Right?
Yeah.
Because I'm still just relying on the simple basic shapes. And here's his little jacket, his pants, and he's running with his serving tray. He's still got a turkey on it. But now the smoke's going back, or the steam's going back. Because he's running over to this table where they're waiting for their food, right? And then I put a little black, I just get a brush and some black ink, put a shadow underneath them, right? Yeah?
Yeah.
Does that make sense?
Yeah, definitely.
But notice how I'm not really, I'm just using those really basic shapes. That's why I had you guys do that exercise in the beginning of this, remember?
Mm-hmm.
This is how I use it. Okay?
Yeah.
Go crazy. Yeah?
Yeah.
Does that make sense though? It all makes sense?
Yeah, definitely. I need to I think I really just need to get the simple shapes before I move on kind of thing. I have to
Yes.
get that down. Because I noticed yours, how you created it super simple. And
Yeah.
but it's even though they're super simple, it's I'm able to see your plan of attack kind of thing.
That's exactly it. And that's one of your biggest weapons, by the way, is learning how to do that. Because once I do this, I can take this guy right here or any of these. Well, that's annoying. Okay. Any of these, and I could just go in and I could start tricking them out. Right? Like here, I'd put a little flip. Even though from this angle I probably couldn't see it, I'd put a little flip on his, probably put a fold right there. Start creating his hand. And I could take this pretty far just from this. Where I could go, okay, I'm starting to get, I don't like that he has real cat feet, so I'm going to give him regular feet. You know, and I just start playing around with it. Yeah?
Yeah.
Once you get that down, it's actually kind of a blast because you can kind of just draw anything you want. Does that make sense?
Mm-hmm.
But keep it really simple like this. Like, don't commit to anything until you go, wow, that's cool. That's starting to be what I want it to be. The other stuff, just burn through it. Okay?
Yeah.
Okay. And then figure out what's behind him. It just could, by the way, what's behind him can be totally simple. I actually kind of prefer it to be simple. Silhouettes, stuff like that. You can go a little more crazy if you want, but on the first project here, I want to make sure that we don't get too crazy, okay? I mean, you know, and some of you guys have more experience than others, and you can get more crazy. Where's Marissa?
Hello.
How you doing?
I'm doing good. How are you?
Pretty good. Okay, so the animals, right? I mean, these are the, like, how did you pick these?
I was just thinking about animals who have a lot of fur or are really feathery.
So which
I started off
direction,
with the rooster first.
which direction do you want to go in?
I was thinking more either the rooster or the alpaca.
This is the rooster here, right?
Yeah.
What I would, okay, I think they got to get more stylized or more worked
Okay.
out. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Like, I always go to the same guys, but who cares? Hang on. Just because I know where to find their stuff, that's why. All this kind of cool stuff. These guys, look at this guy. Right here. Right?
Yeah.
Got to get him more. This guy here. I love this one. I love this one here. Right?
Yeah.
Give me a little more of that if you want to do the roost or any of them. It doesn't matter. Right?
Okay.
And then, like, with things like gorillas, they have a very distinct, usually, I mean, chimps, gorillas, all that stuff. They have a distinct sort of a graphic pattern that's sort of this, like, you know, kind of this kind of thing. You know, and then the ears. But find that graphic pattern. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
And then push. It's the same thing we we're just talking about with the last one. You know, what's the bird, you know, what's the, what do you call it, rooster, you know, what's it consist of? It consists of these kind of things. It's got this shape.
Mm-hmm.
They usually have kind of a funny look because they look, I mean, I don't know how intelligent they are, but they don't look very intelligent. Maybe a little fatter. Maybe I'll make them a lot fatter. small feet. You know, you can play large against really small. And there's just a bunch of ways you can do it, okay? But you got to just start playing around. Bird shapes, I think, are good shapes to play with because they're very easy to read. Does that make sense?
Yes.
You know, you got this, then the main mass, and then feet mostly, right? And then, you know, wings and all that. Beak. This craziness. You know, and then, so a simple shape like that I can see very clearly is easy for me to play with. Yeah?
Yeah.
Okay. So push them. If you're going to pick this guy, then give me just a whole page of those things, right?
Okay.
And again, kind of try and get your design together, and then you kind of know the shapes, and then you can kind of play around posing it, just like we just talked about, right? Yeah?
Yeah.
Where's Nathan?
I'm right here.
Okay, so Bug, how come I don't have more?
Right? I went with the mosquito.
But how come you didn't do more?
Well, okay, I had more, but at the time I didn't really want to know what kind of idea I wanted to go for.
I know, but I do.
Well, what would you go for?
I want to know what, you know, I want to know like what you're thinking so we have more to play with. Does that make sense?
Yeah. Well, for one, I had an idea where it's like a beetle, right?
Yeah.
And he's like working out or something like that.
Okay, well, I need to see it. Okay, give me some more. Yeah?
I did a cockroach. It was kind of like this tinkerer. I didn't post it because this was on another sketchbook I did, but I don't have that sketchbook anymore.
All right. Okay. You got to start getting these things up. Okay.
All right.
Because like there's not like these aren't designed yet. I feel like this isn't pushed as a design yet. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Like these wings aren't figured out. You know, like if I have this shape, and I don't think you have to get everything figured out this early on. I'm not saying that, but you know, I want to know that they're going to do something more like that. Then the head shape is going to be here. You know, and then what kind of wings are these? Are they those kind that have that weird crystalline structure inside of it? Because there's some that do, you know, big eyes. That's fine.
Yeah, I had a trouble with trying to characterize this, trying to anthropomorphize it. Because I imagine the wings to be more withered instead of these clean, sharp, straight. I imagine to be more withered, more used.
You know, and you can do a lot of stuff with all these hands and stuff, you know. You could do stuff, you know, this guy could be a little knock-kneed. You could stand in a weird way or something. You know, there's just all kinds of stuff you could do with it, right? I get it. If you haven't done it before, it's tricky, right?
Yeah.
And then things like this here, that's not what's going to happen. It's not going to have a break right there. It's going to have like a weird little socket thing usually, and then the next piece comes in. It's really, you know, then this one will have this little serrated edge. I see that all the time with insects.
Oh, yeah.
You know, they'll have something like that kind of a leg. And then they have these like serrated edges. You know, and then, you know, is there, you know, they're interesting in the sense that they almost look manufactured.
Yeah.
Like they really almost look like something, like go look at a horseshoe crab. A horseshoe crab looks like something, those things are super weird. They look mechanical.
Yeah.
Look at a tuna skeleton. They look mechanical. I mean, they'll blow your mind how crazy it looks. They used to have one at Natural History Museum. They don't have it anymore. Anyway, actually I have a drawing of it somewhere. But okay, so on the thing about stylizing, you know, again, just take your basic shapes and go, like, I let things get suggested to me. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
So if I have this guy and then I put this sort of in this configuration, then I kind of go, well, that feels a little old man-ish because the, you know, this kind of thing, right?
Mm-hmm.
So then I go, well, maybe I take this little thing and I give him a little cane, you know, and I'm going to give him the, instead of this divot, right? Or I could still put the divot like that, but, you know, I wanted to have some antennas or something. Make his eyes look a little more tired. I'd probably give his eyes a little more personality. You know, now I want to make him look a little older. I like this little furry stuff up here.
Yeah.
But I'd probably make it a little more substantial. Give him a little bit of texture. Maybe one of his hands is on his back like old guys do. You know what I'm talking about?
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah, you know, and then maybe he's got this hand over here. You know, maybe he's got a full-on walker.
Because at the time of designing the mosquito, I was thinking more of this Frankenstein kind of thing.
Yeah, I'm not thinking anything. I'm just letting the design take me.
Okay.
You know, I'm just not, I mean, if I have an idea, that's fine. I'll explore it. But the other thing is, if my idea is not working, I tend to explore. If it's my own thing, I just tend to explore. And just like what this did, where this guy's starting to suggest it, I like it less with a walker. I like it better with a just a cane.
Uh-huh.
I don't know why. The walker starts to get a little sadder. I don't want to be sad. You know, maybe he's got this other arm. Maybe he's been to the market. He's got a little bag. One of those old school bags.
Uh-huh.
With the little indentation. He's got the little handles. Maybe he's got some beer in there. Whatever. And, you know, I got all these arms to play with that I can do stuff with. And, you know, this one's probably coming. Maybe this one's coming forward a little more and he's walking. And this one, that means this one will probably have to go back a little bit. You know, and then I go, okay, that's one idea. And then I just do another one and another one and another one until I land on something.
Yeah.
You know, like this. Look, here's a great one. Again, going back to the same guy. But it's just I know these people's work. This is a good bug one. Dung beetle. Right?
Oh, wow.
Dung beetle.
That's funny.
Yeah, it's great. And then look how simplified the bug is.
Yeah.
And then look at the pile of dung. It's just a bunch of watercolor washes.
Uh-huh.
All right? Okay? So we're doing that in ink, obviously. But you could do it where you go, this guy up here, I'm going to do all inked out, all that. But this, I am going to do so like this, where I do it with a bunch of watercolor washes. Everything doesn't have to be inked. You can play that balance against the two. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
So go crazy, right? But try and get a little more structure like I'm starting to do here, right? And maybe this guy's still got a set of wings. And then, okay, so then that takes my brain into, which was, what does he look like? What is an old bug like that? God damn it. Look, boy, that's annoying. Look like when he's flying, so I could still have the posture. Now I got this stuff. you know, and I just try and figure out like maybe another pose where it's like, well, what's the flying equivalent for this kind of bug? Is everything hanging a little more? Maybe he's got a second set of wings here.
Yeah, I just like the idea of having like a body on the top and then just masses of arms and legs.
Yeah,
dangling
play
at the
with
bottom.
that. Play with that. I mean, you know, because like he could have one that's, you know, holding a beer. He could have one that's got something else. I don't know what. He could have one that's got a fly swatter. Could have, because he's not that kind of bug. Could have one that has a gun. I don't know why. You know, and eventually some story would pop into my head about what he has in his hands, and they'd all start to make sense. You know, but I have to go through this process. And 90% of the time, and now I'm going, okay, he's not an old guy now. I don't know what I like that. Then I got to work out these legs. They're not quite right yet. You know, and then if it's ink, again, I might come in here and go, I'm going to do this nice ground shadow. And I got an idea, right?
Yeah.
You comfortable, Taylor? Taylor Cole White, TCW.
I just minimized my video and I don't know how to fix it. Oh wait, I just fixed it.
All right. Nathan, does that make sense?
Yeah.
Okay, go. Yeah?
Yeah, definitely.
Okay, good.
Hey, thanks,
nice,
Mike.
Please, just let things happen, man. You know? You gotta let things happen.
Yeah, I'm just too self-conscious in my sketches.
Yeah, all of us are. I mean, I'm not anymore, but I mean, I sure as hell was a long time ago, and I'd overthink them, and you got to draw everything right. When you're just
exactly.
Ideas, I don't give a crap about right. All I care about is ideas and like the big shapes and things like that. And then I go, okay, now I can start to figure out how I'm going to actually put this together. And I've already got a couple ideas because, you know, some of the stuff, even though it's super loose in my drawings, it's there. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Just like this little shape I just made under right here. I like that shape. That's an accident.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. I mean, 90% of everything I do is an accident. Like literally. It's a bunch of, you know what it is? You know what my whole style is or my whole approach is? I fall down the stairs and I land on my feet. Right?
Yeah.
That's my design approach.
Okay.
Sometimes I don't land on my feet. Sometimes I land on my face, but so what?
And don't we all?
That's why I look like this. Okay. That's where you guys were all supposed to jump in unison and go, no, you look fine. But that moment's passed.
Thanks, guys.
Yeah, thanks a lot. Now, all I'm going to do tonight is weep myself to sleep. Okay?
Now you're gonna be like the rest of us.
That's true. Which, you know what that's going to do, though? It's just going to breed me being even more angry and more after you, Emily.
Okay, come after me.
The only
I'm
thing
not
that's gonna
scared.
make me feel better is to inflict damage. Okay.
You can't hurt me. I'm like gel. I'm like a sponge.
I doubt that. Everybody has their chink in their armor. Okay, you guys.
Mike is always the perfect eldritch monster.
I put Mike's at the discussion right there, Mike.
What do you mean discussion?
The open discussion right there. I think I put mine in there.
I'm not using the open discussion filter or folder. I'm using the one for tonight.
Oh.
But did I go through everybody's stuff?
Hey,
Not mine.
No, not mine.
Yeah, not mine either, Mike.
Okay.
Not mine.
Let me look. And it's in the folder?
Supposed to be.
I think
I put it in there in a folder and it disappeared.
Yeah, I saw this September 15th. It looked like some more people put theirs in there.
I already did Abigail, Nathan, Marissa. I did Marissa Caleros, right? Wait, let me look.
Yes, you did. You did.
Yeah, I did do those. Okay, so I've done all these. That's everything I've got.
That's weird because it's me, David, Mike. I put mine in the September 15th, I swear. So
Fundamentals of Cartooning, September 15th, right?
Well, and let me go back to. I swear to God, I thought I did. Here, let me go back to the website, the page.
I don't see the folder that says fundamental cartooning.
All right, I can't have this conversation anymore. It's gonna make me insane.
It's in Canvas. You just have to click on the announcements.
No, I just
In there,
don't
he's
get
got
it.
a class
This is
link.
hard. Oops.
Like it's the second link underneath the Zoom one. It takes you
in
straight to the
big
drive.
letters. I spent $150 on that sign.
Yeah, I went to.
But I just got a new one.
Yeah, that was mine.
Hey, Mike. So it's me, David. I went to the announcements.
I honestly recommend anybody making it a bookmark.
Yeah, and so I went to the folder, and I click on it. I don't know. I don't know why you didn't get it.
I don't know. I'm in the folder right now. Wait. Hang on. Wait a minute. I mean, this time it's my fault. This part is my fault.
I don't know. Maybe it's because on my thing, I go to click on announcements and it says, class links, fundamentals cartooning, time September 15th. And then I get to the folder, I click on the folder, and that's where I submitted it.
That's where it should be.
Yeah, I don't know. And I sent you an email too with it just in case. So I don't know.
Hey, George.
I know. I see on the screen. What the heck?
Wait a minute. Let me see if I can do this.
All right.
Sometimes this will work. No.
If it doesn't, let me know. I can see.
Yeah, just try. Make sure it's opening on your end. Sometimes that happens. It just gets like corrupted.
Yeah, that's what I'm thinking. It can open on my screen. Yeah.
Yeah. So do it again. Drop it in there again.
All right, I'll do it one more time.
Okay, Mike, I already uploaded it on the fundamental cartooning. Should be there.
All right, let's try this one
No,
more
do it
time.
again. Oh, is this the same one? I don't know if this is the same one.
Just highly recommend making it a bookmark so you don't have to go find the link all the time.
I know, but it's under announcements every time.
Mine's there.
I just opened one of the links you had in there, Mike, and it went to the open discussion one instead of the 15.
Oh, what is going on? All right, let me look. But see if I go to the open discussion one. I don't know if there's a whole bunch of stuff in there not related to this class.
And then there's.
You know what, though? That doesn't make any sense, though, because I clicked this one myself, and you guys put all of this stuff in here, so it works. Yeah?
Yeah.
Okay, Brian, what is this? What's going on?
It's just like the picture of the cat's like he's wearing a crown. He's like ruling the empire. I just make him like.
What's going to be in the background? What's going to be in the background?
I just want to draw like the palace. I want to draw like a little.
Sure. Okay, if you're going to do that, it's got to be that background needs to be fairly simple, and then this guy needs to be fleshed out.
You could do a cardboard box throne since cats really like cardboard boxes.
Oh yeah, that's a good idea. Flesh this guy out there. You got to flesh the character out. I don't care if you do a cat and all that. That's fine. But I mean, you got to flesh him out. Like, if he's going to be doing this, then you got to really figure the pose out, figure the character out, all that stuff. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Okay. Push it.
Okay.
Okay. Who else was putting stuff in there? Let's see.
Hey, Mike, it's me, David, again. I think what happened with mine is that I put it in a folder with my name and I put homework. And maybe that's why it wasn't getting to you. So I just submitted it just directly in the thing. So hopefully you get it. So
I got George's.
Let's see if it downloads. You can open it.
Bang.
There we go.
Okay, so what are we talking about? How come I only have one?
Oh, sorry. I had previous ones, but they were the same duplicates. I just edited them over and over again to see.
Okay, try not to do that. Try and do drawings over and over again.
Yeah, I did, but they're in separate files. But this is like the final one. I was going to modify it more, but it was kind of late. But yeah, I'll put them if next time I put them together.
Yeah, I want to see
what I
and
have.
also separate ideas. Like, don't come up with one idea and then just keep editing it. Like, come up with a bunch of them.
Okay, I see.
And then you can, then it's eventually you can narrow them down and start editing one.
Yeah. Oh, okay.
Okay. But you got to give yourself a lot to play with, right?
Yeah.
So it's a bear, right?
Polar bear, more specific.
Oh, polar bear. Okay.
Well, polar bears are really specific, and I always forget, but they are very specific. But again, what's he doing? He's got a drink.
Yeah, you got a drink, and he's holding a picnic basket. He's supposed to be at the beach because global warming.
And I would get him more, And I'm not drawing the right polar bear because I haven't.
Oh, I know those palm trees. I know they look. They were better on my previous sketches. I just didn't have time to do.
You got to get that nose right. Like bears, polar bears have a certain kind of nose. I'm not getting it right yet, but But I would, if he's at the beach, is he happening? Does he think he's happening?
I'm sorry. What?
Does he think he's happening? Does he think he's cool?
Yeah, he's like a dad.
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
so he's not cool, but he thinks
he's not cool, but he thinks he's cool.
Yeah. Again, when I'm doing bears and stuff, it's fun to give them clothes that are a little too small. You don't have to do that. But I'd have this hand. Maybe that's the one. With the, and I might give him some kind of, the basket would have to be something to me that was also part of the gag, I think. I just don't know what it is yet. And he's got some bread in here, whatever he's got, right? Maybe you can see the weave on the basket. His food's all, what's a bear have at the beach, which is kind of funny. This hand. And I'd have him more walking. Probably a bigger belly.
Yeah. Show a little more action, like
and then I'd probably, so now I can go, okay, he's got this shirt. I'd probably put some kind of silly Hawaiian print on it. Or an old guy's rule shirt, which is like the uncoolest thing you could possibly ever wear. Right?
My grandpa has that shirt.
I rest my case. Okay, but then I can go, he's got this belly now I gave him a little bit, right?
Mm-hmm.
So now I can rise or pull his, his shorts up to a little too high.
Oh, shorts.
And then give him these big baggy shorts, Give him really small feet. Give him sandals.
I was thinking of that, but it was late.
Socks and sandals.
Yeah, socks and sandals. See what I mean? That's even better.
The socks I did not think of.
And I have to work out his shorts. They're too big right now.
Yeah.
And his arms are kind of swinging. He's got a beer. He's got his little basket. Again, I can put a little shadow on him. And then, he doesn't have to be, maybe, and then maybe instead of having palm trees, maybe I just go in little silhouettes. There's some beach umbrellas and stuff back here.
Okay.
And those, again, could just be watercolor washes. And I'm done.
Yeah. It's more simplistic, I would say.
Okay.
You don't have to show
I give them sleeve. That's what I would do. And if you really want to push it, and I wouldn't do it on this, but I give them a couple of kids who are embarrassed by him. Because, going to the beach, I don't know how it is now, but going to the beach with your parents when I was a kid would have been horrifying.
Yes.
That would have been super uncool.
think it depends on your parents nowadays.
Yeah, it's not supposed. It's not the natural order of things, in my opinion. Anyway, I got to get his shorts worked out, and then I'd even put a little pad on his foot right there. I still haven't got that one worked out, but you get the point. And then I'd probably put a tie on his pant, on his trunks. All the unaware dorky dad crap. Make sense?
Yeah, I'll probably redo it and come back on Wednesday and see with the new one.
Yeah, do it. But one of the main points here is that get him in motion.
Yeah, like show some action because the standing still it doesn't work for me now. I noticed.
Yeah, because you don't want him just kind of standing there. You want him like, hey,
I'm cool, Dad. All right.
I had a friend of mine who did that because our generation, everybody had long hair and all that, right?
Mm-hmm.
And he had this long curly hair, which was all cool when we were kids, right? Like Robert Plant hair. And, and then they don't outgrow it. So then he had this daughter, and she turned about 13. And he went to buy her stuff at the mall or something. I mean, it's a long time ago. And she's walking like, 40 feet behind him. And or wherever, behind him, I think. And he's talking to me about it, and he goes, I don't get it, man. How come she's acting like she's all embarrassed to me, man? I'm cool. I'm a cool dad. And I'm like, dude, no, you're not. You know what I mean? Like, none of us are. You know what I mean? I go, but you still got, you're wearing a Judas Priest shirt, and you got long hair, and you clearly a heavy metal guy. That's not cool. You know what I mean? Especially not when you're like 40 or whatever he was,
Yeah, I feel like I won't be one of them too. Maybe.
Yeah, you got to keep growing. I mean, whatever.
Yeah, it happens.
These guys are different. I mean, they literally live. They haven't changed at all since high school at all. That's a little different. That's why I can't hang around. But anyway, yeah. So give them. You want to get that little bit of attitude into it, and you want to communicate the joke or whatever, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Okay.
And old guys' rule shirts. Every time I see that stuff, I just saw one. Like yesterday, the day before, and I'm like, why do people wear these things? You know what I mean? Like, why would you wear this? It's like Tommy Bahama. You guys know Tommy Bahama?
Yes.
Tommy Bahama? No.
Tommy Bahama is for guys my age who've totally given up. That's what that's for. Like the worst, cheesiest. And then it's like trying to be all like tropical, like, or sometimes, it's just.
You say that, but I actually kind of like some of their shirts.
It's like, I don't know if I'd say they've given up.
Yeah, they've given up.
They've given
It's a niche. It's a niche fashion that they're going for.
Given up.
Given into the Tommy Bahama life.
There we go. They got a pina colada in one hand.
If you're wearing Dockers and a Tommy Bahama shirt, it's over.
What about Crocs and a Hawaiian print?
Oh my!
No Hawaiian print. No. Okay, Hawaiian prints. You've given up.
Wow. Okay.
I own a lot of Hawaiian print.
They're fun.
Okay, so twice now, Taylor, you've proven my point tonight.
Taylor, I stand with you. I got your back, Taylor. I got you.
Yeah,
I'm gonna chuck my Croc at you.
Is Emily the one you want on your team? I don't think so.
I don't
Have you seen my talent? Have you seen my skill? I am endearing. I am so humble.
You just made my argument for me. Thank you.
I don't approve of Crocs, but I'm also wearing a homemade shirt, so.
Homemade's cool.
Crocs are comfy. I used to hate them with a passion, but then I wore them and I was like, oh.
You ever seen Mario Batali?
Yes.
No.
Did that look good?
They don't look good on him.
Mario
but he's
Batali?
not wearing them for style.
Yeah. Okay. So I got my dad bear. Now
Civil War happening in here.
I'm going to start a clothing line like that, only I'm going to base it on these dorky bears. I'm going to compete.
You know how much money you would make? You would make so much money.
I would give you money. I would give you money for Bear Bahama shirts. I would do it.
Okay, Bear Bahama shirts. I like that because that encapsulates everything I just said. By the way, I did spec work for Old Guys Rule one time for product.
Really? Oh my god.
And it was like, I still have the sketches for it. I should find them. It was for product.
Mike proves
though. It
himself
wasn't
his
for-
point.
It wasn't for apparel, huh?
Oh.
So
It's
you
still
prove
stupid.
yourself that point.
Yeah, right.
Hey, Mike.
Yeah.
It's me, David. I looked at the folder again, and George, I saw his. So you should be getting mine now in the thing. I just want to let you know, I've been trying to get in there.
I still don't have it.
That is so weird. I swear to God, I see George's next to mine.
Wait a minute. I'm refreshing it. No?
I swear to God. And I go to the Fundamentals Cartooning, September 15th. I don't know why you're not getting mine.
I don't either. It's weird.
File maybe like on private, like you're not sharing it with the whole like other people.
I'll check. Yeah, I don't know. I'm still new to this, so I'm trying to get it to work, but I'll try.
What was I gonna say?
Mike,
Yeah.
that Google Drive is giving you too many bugs.
No, it isn't. The thing that happened today was my fault.
All right.
Normally it's fine.
Yeah, normally it's fine. And sometimes I'll make, okay, you guys, you got to remember, I probably already said this, but like it gets confusing after a while because these things all look the same. Like I have a folder for every class, they all look the same. I have exact same things in them because that's how I organize it. And then I have to go and do all these links, and then I have to edit 3 or 4 videos every night. And then I got to put every video in the right place. And then I got to upload every video, which takes hours. And then I got to go, okay, now I got the video up. Now I got to link it over here. And when I link it, now I got to put the Zoom meeting and the folder and all the links and stuff that I talked about. Now I got to go to the next class and do it all over again. And I'm going to make mistakes here and there. Okay. So whenever you guys see like a typo, like if I put a class and this class and I say it's at noon, you know that's a typo. Okay. I'm not going to change the time of the class.
Mike,
if you go to click the folder and it goes some wacky place, because this does happen sometimes when I do the copy to get the link, to get the link for the folder, it like this just happens on computers in general. It doesn't copy to the clipboard, so it pastes into whatever the last thing I just did was. So that sometimes it'll go to the Zoom thing. If something like that happens, just send me an email right away, and I'll fix it right away. Okay, because that it happens once in a while. I had somebody yesterday, and they go, "Hey, you didn't put it the folder." The reason I try and keep all this together is so when I put up the announcements, I go, I know I have to do the Zoom, I know I have to do the YouTube whatever meeting, then I know I have to post whatever it was I said, a tutorial or something, and then at the end, I know I got to put the folder. So I'm trying to keep it the same also for myself, so I don't screw it up. I also got a cold, and I'm not thinking all that great.
Hey, Mike, can I just share my screen just for a second so you can see? Because I can.
I know, yeah, but I mean, I can't really do anything on it.
No,
Mike, I was gonna say I really liked the music in your video. So.
Which one?
You disabled screen sharing. Okay.
The last one?
Yeah, the inking video. I was watching it today, and I was like, these are some primo music choices.
Yeah, I like those. I like that one actually. That's part of the fun is to go find music for it.
They had a very you vibe.
I like that one. That was fun. But I was telling I don't know if it was this class, I'm always going to put title cards in it from now on like I did in that one.
Yeah.
Because when you're scrubbing through, every time you see that blast of color, you know that's a new section.
It was helpful.
That's why I'm doing that, so you can go through and go, oh, it's the third part. The third one's this color thing. So YouTube will hold it where you're at anyway, but then if you want to go back, you'll just know where the sections are.
Mm-hmm.
So I think I'm always going to do that. I think I did anyway, but I don't know. David, what'd you say?
Oh, I just was going to ask if I could just share my screen for just a second, because you'll see on my screen, I have it. It says.
Oh, I don't believe you don't have it.
Yeah, it says.
I'm not going to mark you down as not having.
Oh, I did send an email with it too. So hopefully you got the email. So.
I was like, you can always go to tomorrow's meeting.
Yeah, and I put it in tomorrow's meeting as well in the other folder. That's what I made my first mistake. I put it in the September 16th folder, and then I was like, oh, my bad. Now I put it in the September 15th, and Mike's still not getting it. So I'm like, what am I doing wrong here? So.
It's Taylor.
Yeah, it's all Taylor's fault.
Hope there's no hackers.
No, we should throw
I
Taylor.
have terrible internet, so it's fine.
But you're in front of that cool abstract painting.
I know, right? Can't remember where it's from, but it's really cool.
David, I didn't get it on that either. Something's going on your computer, man.
Oh, okay. I'm gonna email it again just in case. Okay.
Yeah,
You didn't get it. And okay, 1 second. I'm sorry about this, Mike. I'm really trying, man.
I blame Taylor. And actually, I blame both Taylors.
Wow, Taylors.
Double job.
Because there's two of us, there's a glitch in the system.
It's a 2-for-1 special, guys.
That's a
Come
glitch in
on.
the Matrix.
Zoom was an inside job.
Taylor strikes back, I swear.
It's all a simulation.
Simulation.
It's having to deal with multiple Taylors all the time.
Yeah, it's not, one's enough.
At least we both spell our names like normal people.
That's true. Or like people that are named Kayla. I get that confused with mine because it like sounds the same.
Yes.
Yeah,
Oh
I
my
hate
God. All the time. People think I'm such a weirdo for that.
Yeah, and I'm like, no, it like legit sounds the same when like you just say it.
Also because it sounds like Taylor in a British accent.
Okay, Mike, I just sent another email to you. Okay. So frustrating.
No.
What the fuck?
Just let me look at it tomorrow. I'll look at it tomorrow.
All right, Mike. I swear to God, man.
No,
really...
it's just some goofy thing. Don't worry about it.
Okay.
And I'll look at it tomorrow, so it'll be fine. Oh, wait a minute. No, I did get it. Now I got
there
it.
it is. Jesus Christ, that took forever.
Well, at least we know your computer's working.
Yeah.
Like Mike's email is buggy. That's
Well,
I
my
know.
email's okay. Now what's weird is there's nothing. There's showing an attachment, but there's nothing attached to it.
What the fuck?
Wait a minute. I think this might be my
Excuse my
computer.
language, but
Hang on a second. I think mine's syncing. So give it a second.
Okay.
Oh, that's weird.
Sorry about yeah, just so irritating.
I'm gonna try something here. Hang on.
We all been there, David.
What?
So we all been there.
I know technology, man. It's like I love it, but I hate it all at the same time.
Well, yeah, it's one thing when you don't have to absolutely rely on it for everything like we do now.
Yeah. You know what? If it doesn't work on that, I'll try I have another email account and I'll try a different email thing.
Just for the hell of it, try it because it's weird. It's showing that it has an attachment, but there's nothing in the email.
Okay. I'm gonna try my
But to be honest, you know what though, my work email keeps all day. It's been giving me this weird message, so I don't know. It could be on this end too. I don't think it is because I'm getting my other emails. Oh no, wait, this one's no, it does. Yeah.
Mike, your email is Mike Sheehan, right?
msheehan@fullcall.edu.
Okay. Give me 1 second.
What are you doing, Taylor?
I'm doodling. Doing my little weekly Zoom doodles. Oh, you can't see it with my background. Oh, there it is.
Okay, I approve.
It's like I usually post them in my story after class.
So M Sheehan at full. So it's M Sheehan at fullcall.edu, right?
Yeah.
Okay. Full call.
.edu.
Yahoo!
Like that ballpoint pen thing you were talking about earlier, I was drawing with like exclusively with ballpoint pens for a long time in
I
order
think
to
everybody did at one time.
well, I mean like recently because I was like trying to train myself not to be such a perfectionist. So I was like, if I only use ink pens, then I will like train my brain to think harder and then work faster.
All right, Mike, I just sent it with my Google email account. So
I don't know. I never understand the concept of perfectionism. What's going on over there?
what do you mean by that, Mike? Understand the concept of perfectionism?
I never understand that when people tell me that.
Well, what do you mean by?
I mean, I feel like I've had so many people tell me I'm a perfectionist. It's not really whether I believe it or not.
No, it's just not sending the images, David. Don't worry about it. I'll look at it tomorrow. Don't worry about it.
All right, Mike.
You're not going to lose any time because I'll look at them tomorrow.
Yeah, I just wanted to make sure you get it. You know.
Yeah.
So.
I'm sure it's in the other folder, and I'll look at it tomorrow. Okay, I've gone through everybody else's stuff, right?
Yeah.
I wanted to know if you had mine. I didn't see you work on it or anything, and I saw
Everything I've
my
gone through is
work
everything
with
I
other
have.
people's when I dropped it, but I don't know if you got it.
No, everything I've gone through is what I have, and the folder's empty. I emptied it.
Mike, you downloaded mine. We just haven't gone over it yet.
Oh, I thought I talked about yours.
No.
So that's round 3. I know I saw yours. Okay. Oh, okay. I thought, shit, that's weird. I thought we went over yours.
I'm sorry. Did you say yes? Because it cut out.
No, the folder's empty. Everything I've gone through.
Okay, I sent it to you personally as well, like, or shared it with you on Drive personally as well. So hopefully it'll be there.
So tomorrow we're gonna at the 16th at 11:30. We're gonna have another meeting.
If you want to go.
Oh, I'll definitely be there.
It's not required by anybody. It's just if you guys want to go, but especially anybody like I had problems with tonight. If you want to jump in there tomorrow, it's totally fine.
Okay. Thanks, Mike.
Yeah, I mean it's open. It's wide open. I don't care why you show up. Okay, just bring beer and
I'll bring a fresh case of Corona. No problem.
11:30 in the morning.
and taquitos from Salita Linda.
Hey, Mike, bring whiskey. Don't forget.
No whiskey.
And
then I get punchy if I get whiskey.
I love Jack Daniel's whiskey.
I get sad. I don't know why. It's the only drink that makes me like tear up for like no reason.
So you just sob uncontrollably when you get whiskey. Well, to be honest, so do I.
Like it makes you like super emotional. Like either way.
No, I don't.
Now that's a Zoom I'd pay to see.
Yeah, I agree.
Just, oh my gosh. I'm like crying at someone else's critique. Like,
And then I'll be all that like, I love you, man, and all that crap. Okay, so is this a hyena?
Yeah, it's like a hyena grocery shopping, but he like sees a zebra in the background. I kind of like the top right one the most.
This guy here?
Yeah.
I'm starting to like some of the stuff in this one right here. What are they doing there?
They're like grocery shopping in the produce section. So like the little zebra's holding like some grass, like as like a product. And like that's like the adult, like the parent zebra or something.
Oh God, shut up, phone.
What are these guys doing? Playing chess?
Yeah, and like the elephant's trying to like make him look away by like poking his back. That was like a hard one to pull off because I would probably rework it.
Wait, what's
like
this one here? Oh, I like this one.
Yeah, I liked that. That one was like really fun. I had like a better idea for that.
So it's a buffalo, right?
Yeah, and he's just gassing up his like. I was thinking of giving him like a semi or maybe like a pickup or something.
I like the semi.
Yeah, he's like a little country buffalo.
It's this one, man. It's that guy. It's that. You're already halfway to the stylization. I mean, the pose is pretty good. You might want to, and it looks like you have it right. You always have to be careful when you do that. And it looks right to me. Wait, wait, hang on. It's the same arm you're leaning on. Yeah, so this is right. You might want to have this kind of come out a little further.
Okay.
You got to make it work, but you know what I mean. Yeah, it's the same leg that you're leaning on is the one that's in front of the other one.
Okay.
Okay. I always forget it. I always have to pose it and then remember it.
That's great. Okay, so make sure that this is,
Like
fleshed
design.
out.
And then I was kind of like conflicted about the background for that one because I wanted like that little gas station sign, but it's like I don't know what else I would need. Like maybe just like a cloudy background, like a blue sky.
You could also do like, oh yeah, I think that's what you're doing. Ooh, boy, that's gnarly. Hang on. I want to cut these guys out for a minute. Come on. Ugh. What the hell, man? I think I would do like, there, God. I think I might go. And it has some silly, maybe it's like, I mean, you don't have to make it elaborate. It could just be a sign. But, the name should be funny, right? I think.
Yeah, you know what? It just like clicked in my brain. I visited Arizona recently, and I took a photo of this sign that said like "Town of Chlorine," and it was like really, really goofy. Like maybe I could try like designing it into there, but
Yeah, or this could be. I'd find something silly about the sign and make it one of those big ones because in the middle of nowhere they're real tall, so you see them.
yeah.
And then maybe it's just. And then maybe I do a silhouette. You don't have to make it this elaborate, by the way. Just a little silhouette of a truck. And this would just be a simple silhouette if I did it.
Yeah.
And that's it.
Sweet.
I mean, this man, I could design the hell out of that. That wouldn't take me very long. I mean, you've already designed it, to be honest with you. Now you just got to go, okay, I got to clarify everything, get a nice clean drawing, get it all nice and tight, and designed, Make sure you design this little gas pump thing. I do the sort of old school ones too.
Kind of like
They used to be like, I mean, they're not that different now, but they probably look more or less the same, I guess. I remember them looking a little more mechanical.
Okay.
I mean, that's not a big deal. It doesn't really matter.
And do you think for the foreground with the car coming towards the viewer, should I just make that like a wash possibly, so it's not like overtly complicated?
Where?
You know how he's like gassing like the actual like like the vehicle? Should I just make that a wash, or do you think I should actually kind of like draw that out?
I probably. Well, I mean, you're only going to see a little bit of it.
Yeah.
God dang it! What's going on with my thing? Okay. Maybe. I don't know what's on these things. I'd have to think about that. I don't know. It's probably not much. Maybe some trim. because this is sort of taking care of this.
Yeah.
Because this is telling me like, oh, it's truck stop, he's a trucker. And then also this is also telling part of the story. Right?
Yeah.
And how you work that, I'm not saying do this. I'm just saying that gives me a complete idea.
Yeah. It comes full circle.
And then, sorry. Maybe I just do a simple little mountain right there. Just to kind of end it. Right?
Mm-hmm.
Then whenever I do these, I usually kind of put a little jaggedy edge on it so they're pine trees or whatever. And there it is. That's it, man.
I'm excited for this one, like to like ink him out and whatnot, because I really want to get like, how like buffaloes or like bison or whatever have that really like thick texture
Yeah.
to their hair. Like that's gonna be like fun.
Yeah,
So,
so
like,
figure that out. So if he's got this sort of, and I like that he almost feels like he's got this like head of hair.
Mm-hmm.
Then you got to figure out like, how am I going to represent that?
Has like a
Whatever it
thick-
is. I don't know what it is. It could be really, super stylized. Sometimes you do weird things with things like that. It could be whatever you want. I think mine's a little overdone. I always just look at it and I go, what can I read out of that? Is there a clear graphic language in there? And if there is, I'll just grab that.
Yeah.
But I stylize it or whatever. But he's gonna probably have a little bit of break here. See, all that stuff starts speaking a story to me, because then when I start doing that, I go, maybe this dude's like really into his hair. You know what I mean? Like really, maybe he really digs his hair. Like that's his thing. You know what I mean? And then like the wheat, does it come out and the thing that you have to do with this kind of thing is everything has to be hyper designed. Everything has to be put together. Everything has to be thought through. I love that. I just love that it's like a little moment, a little message. I also love this kind of, like the way I would paint it probably is that this background would be sort of warm, maybe late afternoon, a little bit of sunset going on. It just reminds me, what I like about it? I love being on the road.
Yeah, yeah.
I love road tripping, man. That's like my favorite thing in the world. Like if I can just get in the car and drive for a week, not knowing where I'm going and end up in the middle of nowhere, I'm happy.
Yeah, or it's like fun because like like you're going to your destination, but like the road trip part, like you never know like what you're gonna encounter. Because when I was coming back from Arizona with like my family, there were so many weird little things we saw. Because going to Arizona sucks. But
No, Arizona rocks, man. I just went out there.
Arizona's cool, but like the drive there can be just like monotonous. It has like a lot of great geographical points.
Yeah, but see, I don't think anything's boring. Like nothing's boring to me. And then you see like amazing things. Last time I went to Arizona, I was actually going to Joplin, Missouri, and there was a storm coming in, so I couldn't go to Joplin. And anyway, so I don't even know where I'm at. So I go, I'll just take this big arc through Arizona. I wasn't even planning it. Anyway, I remember coming out of, I don't know where, out of Flagstaff, then down. I went through Sonoma, and then I came out somewhere else. And it was just like desert, right? But there was like these sort of plateaus. It wasn't that high or anything. They were like not high. So it was like these plateaus and then these, sort of like little canyons, but for, out into the distance.
I think I know what you're talking about because they almost remind me of like, I don't know if you've seen Star
No,
Wars.
but in this time of year, it gets, so you're going out there, it looks like desert, except that it's got all these little canyons in it, right? But all the canyons have snow in it where the sun doesn't hit it. So when you go out, it's blasting sun and it looks like a bunch of like diamonds all through the whole thing. Like it picks up all these sparkles and it's in the desert. And it just looks super weird because you're looking at it going, I've never seen that before. Like I've never seen that phenomenon before. It's because the walls, there's just a certain walls in there that I guess don't get hit by the sun, so the snow doesn't melt. And then everything else does, and then it's still desert. So the sun just lights all this snow. It was just really trippy looking. I don't know where it was. And I like that I don't know where it was.
You know what I mean? I don't know where it was. It was just this weird magical thing. Last time I went out to Frisco, I saw a bunch. Anywhere I go on a road trip, I see magical stuff everywhere. You know what I mean? I don't care if it's endless expanse, like if everybody says of nothing. I'm like, this ain't nothing. And then I go, hey, there's a little road going off that way. And then you look and you go, where the hell does that go? And you just go, whoop, you go down that road. Then all of a sudden you're in some weird little town. I find the bar. I do bar portraits. I find out everybody's story in the bar. Come back with a bunch of cool portraits. Then I go the next day from what little crappy hotel I'm staying in. I find like $40, $50 a night hotel. I found a $32 hotel in Flagstaff, right downtown, you know. Then I got the next day and go painting. Then I'd go back on down the road, you know. And I don't know where I'm going. It's awesome, man. It's the greatest thing in the world, you know. It's the greatest thing in the world. Like, it beats the hell out of getting on a plane, because I hate that whole mess. Like, it's fine once I'm there, but I can't stand that whole traveling process and getting through the airport when I can just get in my car and I'm free. I just feel free when I'm doing that.
Yeah, definitely.
And I just stay in crappy places and I meet all kinds of people. It's awesome, man. It's the greatest thing in the world. It's the greatest thing in the world. But you can't have a destination. Every time I have a destination, it all goes wrong. I went to Frisco, I had a destination. They broke in my car, stole a whole bunch of crap. It's just always, every time I have a destination, it doesn't work. And then if I go to a place like Frisco, it's like, I don't really want to go here. I want to go someplace that I've never seen before. It's off the beaten path. I just don't want to, that's not really what I want to do. I went there to see a show. That's why I was there. And got my drone ripped off, got my watercolor bag ripped off, got my sketchbook ripped off, got my glasses ripped off, it's totally sucked.
That does sound, that really sucks. I'm sorry.
And got my window busted.
That's expensive.
And nobody cared. Like, nobody cared.
Oh my.
You're such a John Ford cowboy.
And then I spent the whole weekend, because I was furious. I was staying in a little boutique hotel, and then I'll shut up about this. And I went over and they go, when I got there, they go, oh, we use that parking structure over there. And I go, okay, it's a little boutique hotel in the financial district. I go, okay, cool. So the next morning my car gets broken into, and I go back to the hotel, or I go to the desk and I go, hey man. Oh no, I called them. I go, hey man, my car got broken into in your parking structure. And she goes, that's not our parking structure. And I go, it's the parking structure you gave me a map to. And she's like, oh yeah, blah, blah, blah. So they took no responsibility. So then I think I was still there for another 2 days. And all I did, because I was so angry about it. And then I talked to security, didn't care. And then I started yelling at another security guard, and it turns out he was a cop, and he was actually cool. And because I told him, I was yelling at him. I go, the cops around here are a bunch of assholes. They don't know they don't care about this, you know. And it was a cop, and I thought it was a security guard. So anyway, I spent the whole weekend so angry that I kept going in and out of the hotel. So every time, you know, because you're going in and out. Every time I went in or out, I was an absolute nightmare. Every time. You know what I mean? And it's this tiny hotel. So every time I'd start going out, if there was people there, like checking in, I go, are you checking in here? And they go, yeah. And I go, you should get the hell out of here. You know why? And I just go off. You know what I mean?
Oh my God.
That was a total nightmare. And it was just like, you guys should take responsibility for this, man. That's your parking structure. And you should have told me, because I asked the cop, I go, does this happen all the time? He goes, happens all the time in the city, man. I go, they should have told me that. Because then I might have rethought what I was doing. You know what I mean? I wouldn't have left my car there. Because it's not in a bad area. It's actually a really nice area. It was a really nice hotel. You know what I mean? But apparently that's a thing in San Francisco. I didn't know that. They just smash your window and take all your stuff.
Jeez.
That sounds horrible.
Yeah, it's infuriating. There's nothing worse than getting ripped off, man.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
It's like, I mean, I've had it happen to me twice.
My sister used to get her house ripped off. Like, every time she went on vacation, it was somebody she knew. And then I had to start staying there, and my mom would start staying there, because she would get her house broken into every time she left for more than like a day.
That's so nutty.
Yeah, no, it was weird. And then she moved. She moved from Pico Rivera to Riverside, and goes, okay, cool, I'm done with that stuff. Goes on vacation, broke into her house. Super creepy, man. And it's still going on. Like, she had her house broken into not that long ago.
What the hell?
I don't know, but that's super creepy to get your house broken into. If you come in as like somebody's broke into your house, that's super creepy, man.
Weird.
When I first moved up here, I wasn't used to it yet, and I actually like a little bit of noise, and it's totally quiet up here, right? And I live in this little cabin, like on this little tiny street in the woods, right? And then I have these. My house is up on a hill, sticking out on a hill like that, and then there's all these stairs that go down, right? It's like a tree house. That's why I like it. But oh, my heater broke down, right? So I had this idiot heater guy coming out, and he was just an idiot. But anyway, he had come out like a week ago or whatever, right? So I get home on a Friday night. There's snow everywhere. It's super dark. It's like 11 o'clock at night in the woods, and nobody, all my neighbors are never there because they're mostly vacation homes. And then, I go up to the house, and I just had this, it was super dark and creepy. And I had this weird feeling, and I go, and I didn't put the key in the door, and I just turned the doorknob, and the door opened. And I was like, oh shit, somebody's in my house. Like something's going on here, right? And I creep around the house and everything. Like nobody's, then I realized it was a heater guy. He just like left my house unlocked.
Oh my God.
And when you come home like 11:30 at night, and you've only been living there like probably 6 months. Like I wasn't used to it yet. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And like the other creepy thing is like when you're in a house like that, if you hear somebody outside or like coming up your steps, like I got a ton of steps, like a person your guys' age, I've had a guy come over I've had this happen a lot of times where a young person will come to my house, when they get to my door, knock on my door and I answer the door, they're sweating. That's how many stairs I have. And they're like winded. It's also the mountains, so the air's thinner.
Yeah.
But that's how many stairs I have. So if you hear anybody coming up those stairs, man, even in the daytime, it's weird because you're like, you have no business coming up my stairs. You know what I mean? Like there's no salespeople out here or nothing. This is the middle of nowhere. You know what I mean? And it kind of creeped me out for what now I'm used to. It didn't bother me. Okay. All right. I think I've gone through everything. And then I'm going to do the meeting tomorrow. I just want to go through these right now. I don't want to add anything to this conversation yet. I don't want to do that. I want these designed. I want them finished. Does that make sense?
Mm-hmm.
For all you guys that I've said, hey, like June's for sure, like start going to finish. And there's, I think, a couple other you guys. And I just want to polish the hell out of these. So you're going to have to like tolerate me for a little bit. Does that make sense?
Mm-hmm.
I want these to be great. Okay. And you have to design the hell out of them. Okay. Hang on. Let me check something. Hey, Caleb. Where's Caleb? Not there. Okay. I want him to put those in the folder. I'm going to grab them. And then David, I'll talk to you about yours tomorrow.
Sounds good, Mike.
And then if anybody has any, I want Caleb to know what I want him to do. Hang on.
I have a question. Why do you have an image called Puppy Smiling?
Who, me?
Yeah,
Where?
on your desktop, right in the middle. It says puppysmiling.jpg.
Oh, look.
Why?
I do not have that image.
I'm a cat person.
It's dogs, man.
You can hear him meowing.
I had another really good one, but anyway. Where's Caleb at? I want to tell him this. All right. Okay, you guys, I'm going to let you go. We have Thursday. Thursday, I just want to go over these. So I want everybody to have stuff to show. Is that right?
Tuesday?
We have Tuesday. We're once a week.
Oh, shit. I hate that. Okay, as many as you guys can then, if you revise. You know what? What's today? It's Tuesday? God, I forgot that. Damn it.
September 15th.
Yeah, today's the 15th.
I would like to make...
It's the Independence Day of Mexico.
Where did that come from? A non sequitur.
That's a fun fact.
That's a good That's a good comic strip.
Which one?
Non sequitur.
That is one, right?
Yeah.
No, go back and read all the old Far Sides.
Ugh, I wish.
You've read those, right?
Yeah.
You know, those were great. You can get all those anthologies of them. He's another guy just walked away. All right, I might try and schedule another meeting if you guys want. Okay. I don't like being a week away from just me discussing these things with you. So, or if you need to do a one-on-one or something, if that's what we got to do. I mean, I can't do 15 one-on-ones, but, or if I get 4 or 5 of you, I might go ahead, let's just do a Zoom, or I might just do a Zoom and just do another one and go, if you guys want to talk about it before next week, well, here's the time. But I want to give you guys enough time to actually do something.
I mean, you could always just have us turn something into a Google Drive and then just like send out responses.
Maybe I'll do that. Maybe I'll do one that is, what would that be? General discussion folder?
Yeah, you could just like be like, oh, if you want something critiqued, put it in this folder.
Okay, that's a good idea.
Like, I'll comment on it if.
Okay, so the other one's going to stay the same. It'll just say folder, and this one will actually have a little line like what Emily just said. Only I'm going to change it because Emily said that, and I refuse to use what Emily said. So I'm going to change it.
It's so good and copyright infringement. You can't
You go
handle
ahead.
this.
You go ahead and copyright. I'm not going to use it.
Okay.
I'm going to use something just like it. Okay. And
So you're gonna be the Kroger version, and I'm gonna be brand name. You got it.
Yeah, it's actually the other way around because I'll establish it before you ever hit the market, and I'll be the Kroger, and you'll be like.
Okay, Edison, take it easy.
You're gonna be Big Lots.
Ew.
You're gonna be the Big Lots house brand. That's what you're gonna be.
Whatever, Kmart.
Kmart doesn't exist anymore.
Exactly. You're on your way out, old man.
I'm on top of the world, man.
Okay.
Y'all too much.
Oh, sorry, you guys. You probably don't know.
Very interesting argument. Yeah.
Indeed, it is.
It's an argument that's been going on for quite a while.
Yeah.
That I always win, by the way.
No.
I
He
believe
walks
that.
away solemnly.
I think the lowest on the
You
totem pole.
muted me.
I think even worse than Kmart is if someone insulted you and said, "Yeah, you're Sears." You know?
Well, Sears is the new Kmart, I think.
Well, it's the new Kmart now.
Is it Kmart's back?
No, I'm
No.
saying
No.
Sears is.
Oh,
Sears
Sears?
Sears is
Yeah.
back?
the new Kmart, and Sears is going out.
Yeah,
Sears is going out.
I haven't seen a Sears in like so long. Yeah.
I like Sears. Well,
You.
I keep muting.
What? What?
Mike, Mike,
All right, you guys. I'm gonna let you go.
Mike.
Bye.
Yeah.
On the final, only one page, just one character, and we use the ink, right?
Yeah, here, I'm going to put that up under assignments. I'm going to put a false date on it because whenever we do these kind of things, I don't want to, I might give you guys a little bit more time, or I might, if you guys are ahead of the curve, I might back the time off. Does that make sense?
Yeah, in all seriousness, so do you want us to have a rough ready for next week?
And then.
I was being serious.
All right, go ahead.
So, do you want? I fucking hate you.
Mike.
Worst!
Mike.
You want what? Okay, this is going to be on Bristol, by the way. Smooth Bristol. I'll put it on the thing. Go ahead, Emily. I'm not going to mute you. My muting hand's here in you can see it.
Now she's
Don't
still on
trust
mute.
him. Okay. Yeah. All right. So next week, do you want us to have a rough already kind of set up if we're ahead of the
I
game?
want you to get as close as you can to a finish.
Okay. close
In
enough to
pencil, you guys, not ink.
finish. Okay.
I
So
want to
final-
approve your final pencil, okay?
Final
Okay.
pen. Yeah.
So next week will be in pencil, one page, just a sketch, and once you approve it, then you will start inking, right?
Then you go to ink, yep.
Not so much a sketch. I think he wants kind of like a rough, like a more.
I want
close
you to get it as close to a finished design as you can get it.
Yeah. Just one full
Because then I
page.
can push it over the finish line, hopefully, or you can.
Can I email you a bunch of thumbnails to kind of like set up the
I'm going to
draft?
put that folder up. I'm going to put that folder up by tomorrow, okay?
Okay. Sounds
All
good.
right. And that's what it's going to be for. And I'm probably gonna want to meet with you guys one more. I can't make you guys do that, but if you want to do that, okay?
Sounds
All
good.
right, sounds good.
Can I
I'm gonna
see
go.
you, Mike?
Yeah.
Can I see you tomorrow in discussions? We could talk about it more. So
Well, I'm going to be there anyway.
Yeah.
Okay, tomorrow, pues.
That's
All
it.
right, Mike. Yeah.
All right, you guys.
Hasta
It was fun.
mañana.
I'll see you tomorrow, Mike.
All right. Thanks, you guys.
Have a good night, Mike. Good night, everybody.
All right, bye, Mike.
Thanks, you guys.